Hello, everybody, and welcome to Tombs of Scoria. How are my very favorite players doing today?
Good.
Doing great.
Yeah, doing well.
All right. Where last we left our party, we had left Glacia, and we were headed for home. Now, before we get there, there's going to be some time on the boat with you and your NPCs and all your new gear. Is there anything that you wanted to talk about or work on before you get home? Anything that needed to be discussed or moved or groundwork laid?
I think we wanted to talk about giving some magic items to the people
Yeah.
that helped us.
Wait, did we?
I think we should, right? Everyone who survived, we're on the boat back. I think it's probably that's probably where we divvy things out. But I don't know if we really care. I don't know if right now we care who's got a +1 sword and who hasn't.
That's fine. Yeah,
Yeah.
you can say you divvy out gear amongst these people for the time being.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
We need to have a discussion on what we're gonna do with our stuff when we get back. That's the most important thing.
Yeah.
But I have it right now, yeah? Oh, sorry.
Let's do it. You know, we don't know how things are going to look when we get back. We've been gone for a long time.
Gone for a month or two, right?
Yeah, how long have we been
Longer?
gone for?
Let's see. Currently, it is May 13, and you arrived. You arrived in Glacia on April 7, but there was still a couple weeks. I think there was 3 weeks of time before you left. So before you arrived. So I think you've been gone for a month and a week.
It's not actually that bad. Fucking
not
hell.
Maybe
It costs
2
like
months.
less time than it costs to takes to research a spell.
I'm sorry.
Wow, a long time.
2 months and a week. Not
2
months
months.
and a week. Okay, yeah. I swear I can do math.
What do we want to do with all these longbows, arming swords, spears? We have about 100 of them. Do you think
Well-
it's beneficial for us to keep some for our people, or should we give them to the queen to divvy out among generals?
Well, let's start on the assumption that we have to give something to the queen.
Well,
Now we've got a lot of money and a lot of weapons. What do we could probably go either way and satisfy her.
And ton of look material.
I mean, technically we don't have to tell her anything about what we've gotten, right? It's not like they funded this expedition or anything. This was all of our own people. We didn't get anything provided to us from the crown to do this mission.
They did fund the expedition with the boat.
How much did the boat cost?
They funded
Not a
the
lot.
expedition.
Like 100 gold. We could pay them back for the boat.
That cleric helped us with the teleporting as well. But I agree. In theory, we could keep everything.
In
but
theory, we could keep the vast majority of it. Obviously, it probably wouldn't be good, our relationship with
Yeah.
the crown, to do so.
Well, I think even if it didn't make it any worse, like there's political capital to be gained. Like,
Sure,
how
so the
much
question
benefit
is-
can we get from a 48th +1 sword?
Yeah. So the question is, how do we divvy this up? What do we do? What do we ask for in exchange for what we found?
What do you want?
Well, we've talked about it before, Tyrell. I think once this is all over, you should be king of Mistria.
We're still not even sure how the queen plans to administer to those lands, no?
Well, she's been cagey about it until now, but
Of course. So perhaps we can demand a more candid conversation about the post-Scoria world she plans to rule over?
we don't have to blackmail her. We don't have to blackmail them. Merely ask the question at a pertinent time.
She hasn't even knighted us. I don't know if we want that, but I think it is a little weird.
What is the status of, like, knighting people in this world, Koibu? What does that mean? Like,
It is a position of honor, but it's also a position of responsibility. You are sort of binding yourself to be a law enforcement agent. You're also, when knighted, obligated to serve under any military conditions. You have an oath to whoever is directly above you, and all the way up the chain. So if they give you an order, you're obligated to take it, and you obligate yourself to receive orders.
is it kind
So
of
if you're
weird that we
just-
haven't been knighted yet if we're taking orders directly from the queen doing special military operations?
You can hire mercenaries. You can hire people to do work for you that don't have to be knighted.
Well,
By
we're already
now,
nobles.
We're a
since
noble
great
family and-
heroes. Yeah, it's a little like before you were just kind of degenerates who were hanging around and no one gave a shit about, so that was fine. And now things have really, really escalated, and it feels like this is maybe a step that got missed just because everything's been so chaotic, and for such a long time you were trying to keep a low profile. That's clearly not the case anymore. So I think there's nothing standing in your way from receiving those ranks and honors.
How many big noble families are there?
Well, there's the royal family and the 5 principalities, and those are the biggest of the noble families. And then within each principality, there's probably another, 4 or 5 major noble families. So, depending on the scale you want to talk about, 6 or 30.
I think that in exchange for the goods that we're gonna give over to the crown, probably, if we're cool with it, we should get the McGarrys should get Mystria and Gold Hill. And you would be able to rule Mystria as you see fit, kind of as a king in the north.
It's just that could theoretically be a really big ask. And we don't know what land has been promised to who yet, and we don't even know how the queen plans to run it afterwards.
I point to the 100 magic items.
Yeah, I
It's all
understand.
about pitching as well, right? If she's the queen of Mystria and the queen of Drakus, she's just a queen. But if she holds a position above another king or queen, then she's a legitimized empress. So perhaps we can sell it to her in that way.
It mainly depends on what you want, Tyrael. If you want to be king of Mystria, there's no saying no.
I mean, I don't particularly care to be king of any lands. I just want to make sure that I guess that all of us are safe and that our name lives on as long as possible. I don't know if being king helps that or hurts that more. I'll reflect on it.
Then you might want to, instead of asking for like a king title or whatever, give these magical items to key noble families to garner some sort of respect.
I had a thought on that. We could perhaps put together little gift packages for each of the major noble families, right? A ring of protection, a +1 sword, some gold or some mithril or something. Send it round to each of the families as a little...
I think at one
it might not
point in
seem
time,
much to us, but to them it could be a lot.
I think at one point in time, several months ago, I think those types of plays were important. Mother talked to us about garnering favor with other noble families, but I think that we're making plays for more now than just the approval of other noble families. I think we have that approval already. We could give them a weapon or two or a couple rings, and maybe they'd be even warmer to us, but I'm not sure how much more important that is than winning favor with the queen.
Interesting. If we wish to challenge the queen, then...
Well, not challenge,
from
but...
her.
Right.
But if we've got broad political support across the other noble families, then she's more likely to concede.
Told you before, I'll tell you again. A little wary what'll happen after this whole Scoria thing. I do hope that the queen won't fear us, but if it does come to that, having other noble family support, it might put a error in her plan, you know? Might make her think about it.
Perhaps, but if she sees us handing out a whole bunch of stuff to the noble families, that's going to make us look even more threatening.
Or generous.
Absolutely not
stuff to
generous.
her
We
as
would
well.
look threatening, of course. If you see that a potential usurper is winning favor with all the key nobility in your kingdom, I think it makes us look 20 times more threatening.
Case of perspective, though.
Yeah.
How she views it. We might,
Depends on how she views it, yeah.
We see it as just, we brought back so much stuff, and we're just trying to put it in the places where it can be used most appropriately.
How long has she been queen of Drakus? Multiple decades
Since
now, right?
your mother abdicated, which would have been like a few years before the oldest child was born.
So
how
many
old are you,
decades. Like 33 or 30 something?
Yeah, so I think, without digging up the notes, it's probably been like 35, 36 years.
The queen, she's been queen for many years. I think that we should probably give her more respect and credit for her cleverness than to think that we could pull a fast one like that on her.
I don't know if
I
this
don't
is
even know
something
if
we
it's pulling a
want.
fast one, though.
Yeah.
Well, it would
It's
be.
reasonable.
We're trying to curry favor with all the noble families to secure our political position in the throne, potentially in contrast with the queen as planned. We're trying to head off potential malicious action from the queen.
Or we're giving it to the people who need it.
Well,
who
but I mean,
are
these
having,
noble
like, their
families.
sons are on the front line and whatever. I think the best course of action would probably be just to give most of it to the queen.
Yeah.
Let her divvy it out. We keep at a good amount for us and our family at home, I think that is the course of action I think is most befitting to take. But if you want something, this is the time to ask for it. And we should have a frank conversation of what happens after Scoria.
I think it's better to give the basic magic items away to the Queen than divvy up all the mithril from the Volkov. I think our family should be keeping hold of that thing for generations to come and slowly siphoning off the mithril into the marketplace. We don't want to devalue it. If everyone and their son has a mithril ring, it's no longer worth that much.
I don't know. Mithril is incredibly unique material, right? It's strong for swords and weapons. It can hold an enchantment. I don't know if we could ever truly devalue it. There's a lot. You can enchant mithril items, right? Am I making
Absolutely.
that?
That's true, yeah. Nobody really knows how to enchant items, though, these days.
You will be soon able to, Emmerich.
Yeah?
Didn't you go to some
Maybe.
flying wizard castle a while ago? They can't enchant items up there?
Yeah, I'm sure some can up there. But I don't think even Arxambar could create a magic item.
When you enchant items, does that take years off your life? Or is that a 5th edition thing?
Only if you make permanent magic items.
If you, not magic items, but if you cast permanency on yourself, on a person, to create a permanent effect on a living creature, that takes years off your life. The problem with enchanting items is you need a 14th level wizard to do it.
Okay, gotcha.
It's just power locked behind high levels.
One other question. Of all these bows and swords that we got, it's been described to us in the past that magical items, they tend to look really cool. Or really good. They have like ornate jewelry, whatever. Do these look unique being from Glacia? Like, are these like, would somebody see this and be like, wow, that's some crazy, even compared to normal magical items, do they look...
So they need to be of a sufficient high quality to be made of magic, but there is also the cultural difference that you would make your swords in this fashion and they would make their swords in that fashion. If you look at like Chinese swords versus European swords, they're very, very different in style, right? So Glacia is going to have a completely different aesthetic to their weapons than yours. Their bows might be recurve bows while you're using like English longbows, for example.
Yeah, okay, gotcha.
They will appear distinct.
Pretty cool.
Okay, I guess we need to have a conversation with the Queen about what Drekis looks like post-Scoria, hopefully then.
It would be harder for the Queen to, if she ever did, and I don't think that she will, turn on us if you were also married into the family.
Well, I was thinking that's what I was going to say.
Family.
I don't know how committed we all are to the family name here, but given our
we are.
mother's name, we could be asking to be recognized as the royal family.
I think we're committed to being the McGarrys.
Okay, 2 questions. One, is it seen as weird to marry cousins in this world?
No, it's totally normal.
Okay, 2, is 16, is that like normal in these lands?
For
Absolutely.
age of marriage?
Yeah.
Yep, that
Okay.
is historically accurate.
This is
That
all
is not-
D&D
Old, if
roleplay, okay? Just making sure, okay? Because
Right.
the Queen has one 16-year-old daughter that is unwed and unbetrothed to anybody, I believe, yeah?
I think that's right.
Okay, just checking.
And
She
would
has
take
an
the
older.
McGar-
She has
she
an
would-
older son, though, right?
Wait, really?
Wick, yeah. John Wick.
Queen
yeah.
has an older son, yeah. There's an heir.
Oh, no, we don't care about him. Fuck that guy.
No, we don't care about that. I'm asking, she would take the McGarry name, correct, Koibu?
Yeah, she would.
Well, that's one of these awkward areas. Normally, when you marry into a more powerful family, whoever marries into the powerful family assumes the powerful family's name.
So this is somewhere
so-
I think we would deviate as one of the prerequisites is we want her
Right.
to take the McGarry name.
Right. This would be
An oddity.
one of those edge cases. Yeah.
Okay, well, since we're making the argument of what looks threatening to the Queen, I feel that looks kind of threatening.
No.
because then,
I don't think that
It's
looks
perfect.
threatening.
It
Yeah.
works really well.
Then if her and her son is killed, then your wife is the Queen.
No, because there's a girl who's higher. There's an older.
Okay, well, fine. Well, fine. If the rest of
She
her
has an
family is
oldest
killed.
daughter that's married to, is it John Wick?
It's married to Van Helsing.
Oh, so there's the oldest daughter, there's Van Helsing, and there's John Wick, and potentially his
Yeah.
wife. Does he have a wife? We're killing a lot of people to be.
We're not killing Van Helsing.
No, I'm just saying that in order to
No,
be
we're not
like we would
talking
have to
about
kill a
killing.
lot. I'm saying
No,
that's
you're
not
right.
really. Yeah.
I'm backing
Yeah.
off from the point because it's so ridiculous.
Yeah, I think that this is good for everybody. It ensures our spot.
Mm-hmm.
It makes the Queen look.
And the Queen
more
probably
complacent
can't do
with
anything
us.
to us because we're talking literal Regis side at that point.
Yes.
That's a
This
good
seems
point
like
too.
the best
Mm-hmm.
scenario for us. And we're
Oh,
giving the
magical
queen
houses.
like 60 magical items, which I don't think can be underplayed.
That's good. We can
so
call
much.
it a dowry.
Yeah.
They would need a dowry for us. Okay, fuck that. When we get back, before we do anything, I'm gonna have my people move everything we've gotten into a stash spot in our house. Or we need to find a way to hide these things. I don't want to just bring these in.
Maybe better than that. It's somewhere better than the house, right? It's the first place someone would look for it. It might be the best defended, but
Well, nobody should be peeking through our cargo in our home or whatever, or our
I hope so. Yeah.
store.
But,
Well, none.
you
I
know.
hope so. No, they shouldn't be. Absolutely not.
How do we want to do this? Because we're going to be setting up a trans-dimensional portal from a place to a place. Where do we want to end up with all of our shit?
You know,
Do we want to end up in the throne? Because that's probably the safest place for our magic items. I'm not saying we put all of them in there, but if we're giving the queen half, for example.
Well, it would be the
then-
Queen's cleric taking us, so yeah, maybe.
That's correct, yeah. And there's a weird thing that the cleric has to know where to go or it gets
Yeah.
funky.
Wait, we're not taking it into the royal area. Because if she, for whatever
Okay,
reason,
where do you wanna
decides
take
that
it?
she wants it, and we can't do anything about it, and she's not going to trade us for it, then we're not going to walk out of them with it. She's just going to take it from us, right?
She can't take it from us. How?
By saying it's mine, and we need this for the military effort, and I can't afford you anything else. Are we really going to say no? We're going to just take this now?
Oh. Well, maybe. Maybe she would do that. I feel like you would say no, Tyrell.
I mean,
I feel like that wouldn't if it did happen, then we couldn't trust the queen anyways.
We'd say no. We'd have to.
We would say, yeah, we would say no.
okay, in that case, perhaps the capital is the most... Yeah, it's the safest place for it. Make
if
sure
she's
we
gonna
have
turn
this
on
all,
us, it
like...
has to be then,
we
yeah.
need this all covered in bags and stuff. Or actually, we might be able to
I think
fit
it's nice
everything
to
in
show
one
her.
or two of the bag of holdings. No, I don't want to show
Oh,
anything yet.
yeah, I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
I don't want to...
yeah.
Yeah, let's just... We always underplay our hand.
We have 2,000 pounds of bags of holdings.
Yeah, and a
that we
sword
could
is what,
put
2 or 3
all of
pounds?
this shit in. Yeah.
Yeah, so we can actually probably put every single magical item in like 2 bags, unironically.
Yep.
Yeah. Perhaps come through holding the Volkov.
How much do we want to keep for ourselves and give to the crown? 50-50 split? 30-60? What do you...
I'll have a conversation with her and I'll see what she's willing to offer first, and then
Okay.
I'll figure out from there. I'll never negotiate us in a bad position.
Anything we've got more than 3 of, I think, is on the table. Anything that we've got less than that, I think we should keep for ourselves.
Keep most of the rings.
Before
but
we
yeah.
head back on a piece of parchment, I'll jot down the contents of all of our bags of what we have.
Okay.
I assume we don't need to play the what goes in what bag game, do we?
No. There's
Okay.
too much. We don't need to spend 5 hours organizing gear.
Yeah, so I
Unless you
think the
really
next
want-
thing then is, when we get to the island, I'll teleport back. I guess I'll have to have the first conversation.
We're
And
going to be
get the
bringing
cleric.
a giant back too.
You added all of the stuff to the party sheet for personal wealth, right? For the money we got? Or no?
Oh wait, the giant
Yes,
can't come
I
through
did.
the portal.
Okay.
Well, then he's fucked. Or you can teleport the giant back on another day.
Oh yeah.
You
I
can shrink him,
teleport
he
this.
can come
yeah.
to the portal, right?
Oh, I shrink him when he comes through the portal. That's true. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I put all the personal wealth on there. The only thing that's not on the party sheet right now is the Velkov or whatever.
Volkov, yeah.
I don't know how. That is probably a priceless thing.
Yep.
I think it's just on the sled right now.
We said there's enough
Yeah.
mithril in that to power our generations, like our family, right? That's like infinite wealth, basically.
That's what we felt like, yeah.
Yes.
It's pretty badass.
We might be the most wealth.
This is why I don't think
people
we
in the
should give
kingdom.
like. I don't think we should be spreading it around and spending it all right now. If it gets turned into a bunch of swords, it's kind of.
Yeah, we're not doing that. We just need to go back and figure
Alright,
out
we
what.
have-
Let's
wanna
take
do that, yeah.
inventory for what's even happening back in the kingdom. We've been gone for
Yeah.
4 or 5 weeks now. Who knows? Maybe Scoria's
Yes.
already dead.
Yes. All right. Well, let me get on shore first. Pull the ship in.
I pull the
I'll,
ship
uh,
in. I cast the divination. Does the teleport seem like it's gonna go well?
Yeah, you guys can. We can just hand wave all that. If it doesn't work now, you wait a day. If it doesn't work then,
Okay.
you wait another
So-
day. Right.
I teleport back into, I don't know, one of the waiting rooms in the keep, in the the Queen's Keep.
The Queen's Keep is forbidden, so you'll have to go somewhere else.
Okay. So I teleport in front of the gate. You know,
Yeah.
I know where the Forbidden Line is. I do it
Right,
just
right.
there.
Perfect. You find yourself in the capital city, Wicthron-Renta, and there's a whole bunch of people gawking at you wildly as you have appeared out of nowhere, resplendent in your, what is this, your white cloak with your fancy robes and your staves and your backpacks and everything.
Yeah. I look around. Is anything burning? I feel the warm air of the south and feel pleased.
Everything right here seems fine, aside from the people staring at you openly in surprise. And there's a lot of them. There's a lot more of them than you remember being in the capital.
Okay, well, I'll turn to address them then. At ease, citizens. I'm just returning from a long journey to see my aunt.
Are you Imric McGarry? Says one of these old ladies nearby, and she walks up towards you.
Indeed, this is I, but I am afraid I have no time to folly. And we'll give a little, small bow and turn around. Walk across the bridge to the gate.
The guards salute you, open the gate, and let you in. There is a spellcaster nearby who has cast some spell while you were approaching the gate, but they're probably just checking to make sure you're who you say you are, and there is no saves required, and no one's.
They've gone blind from detect magic, looking at me. I'll nod at the people I know as I walk through the corridors, and when I see the head servant or someone like that, he's probably around somewhere. I'll say, "My friend, I'd like to see the Queen and the cleric, if they are available."
They will organize just such a meeting for you. Currently, they are occupied. It'll take a little while for them to be free for you, but within a span of 2 hours, you can get yourself a sit-down meeting with the Queen. The head cleric is somewhere else in town, and they'll have to fetch them, but for now, you can speak with the Queen.
My Queen, I have returned. Our journey has been successful.
She scans. And your brothers?
I require the cleric to create her portal so we can bring back everything, the supplies, the rest of our men.
Of course.
My brothers. It's quite a tale, and one that I'm sure you'll hear in due time, but perhaps now's not the best time. Is everything well at home?
Her jaw is set, her brow is furrowed. Perhaps that is a conversation best for all three of you. Did anyone else? Has everyone else survived? Did you get what you were looking for?
We did. We lost one or two, but nothing for you to be too concerned about, I don't think. People you wouldn't have known well. Well, for now then, I shall address you as my aunt and request a hug, and I'll take a step forward. It's good to see you.
She looks a little surprised, but gets up and will give you a hug. She seems a little bit thrown by the personal intimacy, but has no problem, engaging with it. She'll squeeze you a little bit tightly, and then step back and say, I'm glad to see you home, Imric. Things have not gone well while you were away. And she turns to one of the guards nearby and says, "Step out, find a servant, get the cleric over here." And one of the guards, who's always been in the room with the queen, always in the same room with the queen, gives her a moment of pause as he's being asked to step out and not bodyguard her for a moment.
Does she give him a look?
No, it's just one of these really?
Okay.
And she goes back to Imric, not thinking anything of it. And after a 2-second pause, he steps out, finds a servant, and is back in the room in 45 seconds.
Well, that's what I draw my.
That was your time. Yeah.
No. I say, well, I'm sure we'll get a full briefing later, but we bring back good news, so perhaps it will lessen your burden.
Mm-hmm. Well, until your family arrives, please make yourself comfortable and at home. My sister, your mother, is not here right now. I think she's minding your keep, which has survived inexplicably well.
Our keep? Well, that's good. The thing's not finished yet. I'd hate to have all the progress be destroyed whilst we were gone. Why? The way you said that doesn't bode well for the other keeps and cities across the land.
She shakes her head.
Should I be more worried?
In time.
Well, we should fetch the cleric as soon as possible.
I have many letters to write. I will have to excuse myself now. When you're all here and assembled, we should speak quickly. Perhaps tomorrow morning.
Okay. Can I wait here for the cleric?
Of course. She will excuse herself, and you can wait. The cleric will come in a few hours.
Wait, am I in the throne room?
No, you're in one of these casual waiting parlors.
We'll need to start speeding the fuck up when they talk to us, okay? What is the cleric doing that's more important, you know?
Yeah.
Well, first off, they don't know that you're coming home today, right? They're out there performing some sort of ceremony or ritual. Maybe they're marrying some people. Maybe they're in the middle of some spell research.
Anton's mad across thousands of miles. He's so angry.
He's like waiting. He's like, what the fuck is going on? I thought we'd be home in an hour.
Yeah, it takes... you guys end up waiting like 4 or 5 hours before the portal appears. You can bring all your stuff through. Everything save the giant.
We reduce it.
No, I cast reduce on him.
Yeah. Great.
Yeah.
All your stuff comes in. The boat will sail its way back along with any other crap and provisions. But the people and the Volkov can all arrive. And to where do they arrive? Back in the middle of town?
There should be vaults or a treasury inside the castle that we can have everything ferried to. So whatever's closest to that.
Forbiddens, though.
Forbiddens, yeah, you can't.
Yeah, but there should be a place close to that.
Your warehouse.
Sure.
Your house is a warehouse in the capital, and you
can
easily
then.
arrive there quietly, unseen.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Don't think we should do it in the middle of the. Doing it straight into the Queen's treasury. Maybe sends the wrong signal.
Is it daytime or nighttime?
It is.
Well, if it took 4 hours for the meeting, it should be like early evening or late afternoon or something.
Yeah, it is late afternoon. It is 5 o'clock.
Can I fly?
In May. No.
Not yet.
Not yet. Soon, though. Soon. Well, party. You've got one night to rest. Everyone that has come back from Glacia takes a load off, drops their bags, takes off their weapons and armor, puts on some level of comfortable clothes, gives each other like hugs and sort of, I can't believe we're actually back, gestures, and then heads out to the local taverns to get some life and some warmth and some joy.
In full gear, and he's gonna maybe commune with Velthara. She's down to have a convo.
When this is happening, where everyone's leaving, right? And Anton's like, I'm gonna stay and pray. I look longingly at Tyrael and then back at everyone walking out of the door.
I shake my head.
Yeah, you're right.
I have a lot to think on, unfortunately, but I'm sure you can go out and party enough for the three of us, no? You seem to have done it well in the past.
Well,
I'll pull the decanter of water out of one of the bag of holdings of endless water. I'll be like, here, you're gonna need this tonight.
I give you a nod. I put it like on my bedside table, and I'll head out after everyone catching up.
All right. MrMouton.
We cast a few time pools on our way.
Oh yeah.
And
this is a great time to talk about those.
They came back. Neal, a gust of wind happened, and he was obscured from the party for a few seconds. But then when he came back, he was just gone.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody knows where he was. Athena, she just died fighting mundane skeletons, but she fought thousands of them before she succumbed to the human element of getting tired.
Mm-hmm.
Just slowly withered and beaten down. Her
killed by Drexel then, or Drexel's army of skeletons.
Mm-hmm. And Anton will sit down for probably the first time in a long time. All of his armor is still on. Probably will be like that almost forever. And he will commune with Velthara.
And you've
see
got
if she has anything for him.
Your amulet of Velthara on, and your circlet is on. Okay. When you set up the little altar and light the candles and say the words and reach out with your mind and your heart to your deity, you can feel her presence.
He's gonna say, thank you. I'm finally back home. Glacia was a nightmare that I never wished to return to. You have sought great vengeance there, and it still goes to this day. Is there anything that you need from me, or anything you need to tell me about? I'm all ears. I'm yours.
You get little flashes of the promise you made with her that when Scoria is dead, that you will leave Arcadia, go to Solemn, and wander the land as a sort of cleric of hers who does her bidding in a small but persistent way. That you will take no names.
Backcloak. Mm-hmm. And he'll think yeah, that seems right. I got the backcloak now to help me with that.
All right.
Cool.
She is pleased. And, yeah. Tyrael, was there something particular you wanted to think on, or?
Yeah, but it's mainly a conversation I think he wants to have with his lovely aunt.
Then we can just go to the next day. Our party can arrive in the Queen's chambers. This time, though, when I say the Queen's chambers, I do mean the throne room. She will be there. There will be two tall, large, broad-shouldered soldiers who you are very familiar with. One of them is the Prince of Kirschwick. The other is the Queen of, not the Queen, the Princess of Solwick. Those are extended royal family who run those principalities. They are here. Arksomber's here. We've mentioned that you've had meetings with generals in the past. I'm just calling out who they specifically are, so that way we have a better understanding of what these people are. They are two of the five, leaders of Drekis outside of the royal family.
Quick thing, can you tell me anytime it's a new moon? Because Anton is now of the level that he can start making golems, and he can only do it on that day.
Okay.
So, not a big thing now, just...
Gotcha. Arksomber's here. The High Cleric is here. There are, of course, some bodyguards standing behind the Queen, and then some ceremonial officials down the main hall as the three of you come on into the room. You can see a table has been brought out with a map rolled across it.
All right.
The Queen welcomes you.
Can we get the map on the screen?
Yeah, we're going to get there.
Oh, cool.
Brothers McGarry, in your absence, much has changed, and she directs your attention to the map.
Oh my god.
Almost a few weeks after you left Drekis, Scoria went on a rampage. City after city, town after town has been damaged, crippled, or occupied entirely. She will point out places on the map. Coxport suffered a terrible wrath. Scoria herself, with some number of creatures upon her back, armed with what I'm assuming were wands of fireball or staves of fireball, swept over the city. Fireball after fireball, Scoria's breath itself set the whole place alight. Coxport has been burned to the ground and is no more. Pernissus suffered a very similar fate, minus the mounted spellcasters or mounted wand wielders. Darcis, Stoneport, Bonmay, Kirschwick, all severely damaged but still alive, still with us. She shakes her head. Crublin has been completely cut off. Their harbors and ports completely destroyed by fire. They do not make enough food there to support themselves and are now slowly in starvation. Normally, Cronwick would be able to resupply them, but Cronwick is under siege right now. Whalers Bay has been occupied by what I believe are Scoria's enforcers. Rencor is maybe the worst of them all, but we will leave that for just a moment later. She checks your faces to see that you're still with her.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I'm looking at the corner of the room. I thought I saw an interesting cobweb.
In your
okay,
absence, we have had some new visitors. A gold dragon has come before me and has spoken to me about, she looks to your weapons, the artifacts you have found to slay Scoria.
Damn, it told our boss.
How did that conversation go? I found him to be quite disagreeable.
The dragon known as Shine has said that she had allied herself with a copper dragon named Cal and a slew of chromatic dragons in an attempt to destroy the weapons you possess. That they laid a trap for you and were unsuccessful. But in the process, they found where we live. They have come and spoken to the people in Wake County. They've come and spoken to me here. It appears that the chromatic dragons Shine had aligned herself with temporarily have come as well in search of those things at your side. They have taken
only death.
They have joined with Scoria and have occupied Rencor. They currently hold the city with some small number of Mystrian special forces, and they hold the city in a state of chaos. Every day that we do not surrender the dragon-slaying weapons to them, or the three of you approach them yourselves, each of the dragons there will eat one man, one woman, and one child. There are, by all accounts, 6 dragons in Rencor.
Only 6?
2 green, 1 blue, 1 red, and 2 white. However, they have set themselves up for what is very clearly a trap. There is no strong avenue of approach. They're clearly waiting for you to arrive. Shine has asked me, made offers, and asked that you surrender the dragon-slaying weapons to her. In exchange, she is willing to serve and become more than an advisor, an actual servant of Drekis for the next 5 generations. She will assist us in the war against Scoria, although she says she is not strong enough herself to take Scoria on one-on-one. I told her you are not here, and that I cannot make these decisions, for I do not wield them myself, but I would pass the message along when you arrived. She gestures outside the walls, somewhere in the woods, waiting. She's a clever creature. She found us here. I expect that within a few days she will be aware of your arrival in town.
Where in the woods? You can point out approximately where she's expected to be.
She shakes her head. No, somewhere out there.
If we wander out
she
there, I'm sure she can find us.
Yes.
Okay, interesting.
Out of character, do we think that we can do it without the dragon slaying weapons?
We might be able to, yeah. I mean, that's a big offer.
So the utility is more than the attack things. Like having the hammer tell us where a dragon is and where traps are. Having the sword resist dragon fear, I think, in an aura around us, right?
Huge.
The bow being able to ground a dragon is nice. And then what does the spear do for a special ability?
Crits on 16.
It doesn't have any dragon relevant stuff?
No, I think it crits on a 16.
No, the spear is just offensive power.
Okay, gotcha. So it's... Yeah, we'll talk about it in character.
Mm-hmm. I'll look to the queen. Any good news?
Your own personal keep has not been damaged.
Why do you think that is? She was scared?
I don't think so. She points to the map. Look at all the cities that have been damaged. Bontheris was attacked, but the people there managed to repel them. Repel her, at least drive her off or ward her away for long enough that she did not return.
How many people are in this room right now? How many princes, generals?
There are like total people or just people
like
of
important people?
significance? Queen, 2 generals, cleric, wizard, 5.
Yeah. Okay.
Plus bodyguards
Okay.
and honor guards.
Anything else?
Am I under the
Or what?
impression that Shine is no longer allied with those chromatic dragons?
That is my understanding. She and the copper dragon, whose name I believe is Cal, have come here in hopes of finding a peaceful solution to what she perceives to be an existential threat to her entire species.
Does she understand that once the beast is slain, then they can have them? They just need to give us 6 more months, a year.
I do not think she believes that to be true. The way that she
Put us
speaks
under
about
a
these
zone of
things,
truth.
the way that she speaks about these things implies that this is
What's
a
the-
limited offer to surrender them now and accept our help, or she will seek other means for their removal.
Blackmail is what it is.
Seems like if we don't do this either, then she's gonna be an enemy.
We'll consider it. We'll talk amongst ourselves. We've already tried
Would-
to craft a deal with these particular dragons in the past, and that is when they ambushed us. So, but we'll consider it. Obviously, this is a serious matter, and it demands a serious conversation between the 3 of us. We'd like to involve you as well once we've reached a decision. So, we'll give this our full attention, of course.
My
Anyone do, like,
queen,
a
what if
5-minute
Outlast?
break? Or I can just be right back. Is
What?
that fine?
We do a break
Can
in
I
a
just be right
second.
back?
Yeah.
I'll be right back.
What?
I have food coming.
Oh,
What if Outlast?
Outlast, the city.
Yes.
Their buildings are mostly stone, and a good portion of them are buried in the hillside, which Outlast is built into. I think that while it has been raided, the damage there is minor. Stone construction has helped keep Outlast intact. An army is sitting there, waiting, ready to attack Whalers Bay to free it from the enforcers that are there and move on to Cronwick and break the siege. However, they cannot do so until the monsters in Rencor are driven back, defeated, or killed.
Well, we'll most certainly be dealing with that, I think. Right, Tyrrell? Seems that with one battle there, we could save the fate of Fort Hans.
for which town?
The chromatic dragons, regardless of our deal with Shine.
You're talking about going to Rencor, right?
Yeah, dealing with them.
It's likely that our next journey will go there. But again, yeah, we need to speak a bit first to figure it out.
Now, there is one other issue. And that is that this destruction, this swath of murder and mayhem happened just as you left. And I have a feeling that while the raids have been continuing up until this point, that they will be stopping immediately. I am under the suspicion that Scoria has had the power to level these cities at will for quite some time, and that she has waited until the 3 of you are gone to do such a thing. This, I think, is the silver lining. I
Indeed.
think that the enemy is fearful.
Scared of a fight in the open, certainly.
I think as long as the 3 of you are public and aware and publicly in public and in Drekis, that Scoria's raiding will stop. And I fear if you leave again for anywhere, that the destruction will continue.
I don't think we plan on leaving.
Well, even the thing is, where we were, we couldn't teleport. We could be in other parts of Arcadia and still return to a city quick post haste to defend. In fact, if Scoria was foolish enough to be baited out into the open at a point where we would just say in Solemn or in Eridon, that might be a way to set up an ambush.
Perhaps. Are there any other things that have happened in our absence, or are we all caught up now?
Has there been any further discussions with the elves?
Yes. The ambassador has told me that the elven nation of Silvis is having unspecified problems. He refused to elaborate. But they have said that they will no longer be able to move enchantments from one piece of equipment to another, and that their support will be temporarily halted while they deal with these unspecified problems. The elves have always been tight-lipped and quiet about and secretive of their nature. I have no reason to believe that this is anything other than that. We have a series of plans that you may be able to enact, that we have been waiting for, but I don't think those are necessarily needed right now.
When the time comes, the elves have a path into Scoria's, the heart of her lair, that they use to trouble her from time to time. I think it will be important for us to speak to them before the moment. Well, it seems like we'll have to think on how to handle Shine.
I think the issue in Rencor is the most pressing one. Our people are dying by the day. The city is occupied. When Rencor is dealt with, there is a slew of other options, of other soft targets and hard targets.
If we're quick, perhaps we could
present you with.
deal with Rencor whilst we still have possession of the weapons before having to speak to Shine.
She nods enthusiastically. I do believe that is best.
Wait, where is Shine at?
She's in the woods.
Shine's in the woods.
Waiting,
Shine is not aligned
somewhere.
with the dragons in Rencor right now?
Certainly not. I cannot imagine such a honest and noble creature as a golden dragon intentionally sacking a town and eating innocent people who refuse. Come here. And she has when a person move another, overlay another piece of parchment, and there will be a hand-drawn map of the port in Rencor. The port in Rencor has a wall built around the inside, so the port is sort of walled in. This is so if the shoreline around Rencor is super rocky, so if an invading force by sea wants to attack, it really has to come into the port, and they've got a wall built there for defensive purposes. And the map will indicate that there are ballista scattered all along this wall, with arrows pointed inward towards the port area. And she'll tap the middle of the port and say, the blue dragon rests here, surrounded by ballista and ground forces, waiting in the port for someone to arrive, where they will be clearly overwhelmed by numbers. And then she brings over another piece of parchment that shows the city square in Rencor. And it's just sort of an empty square, but she brings over these little small wooden boxes and places them around. The red dragon here has laden the whole of the inner courtyard with coal dust and charcoal dust, and placed cages throughout filled with local citizens. With a single breath weapon or other source of fire, she could ignite the entire area. Our estimates are there are maybe 300 people held in these cages. Any attack on the red dragon here would instantly result in the deaths of these 300 people, if not more damage to the surrounding city. In addition, the charcoal dust, coal dust on the ground will reveal any footprints of invisible creatures arriving. And it is covered with poles and stakes, anti-teleportation wards that, by Arksomber's own estimate, would give anyone attempting to arrive a 25% chance of landing within solid matter and being teleported. Somber? Arksomber says they understand how that works.
Perhaps we could come from the air. Oh, sorry.
No, the white dragons hover around the city, flying in circles. The green we've lost track of them. Our spellcasters are using clairvoyance as needed to try and locate where they may have been, but it is a large town and spell slots are limited.
Perhaps we could teleport near the city and then...
We can draw battle plans later. Yeah, I think we'll figure this out on our own. We'll draw plans and figure out how to best do this. Are there any other matters to attend to before? It'd be nice if the three of us could speak with you alone.
Of course. There is some good news. Two delegations have arrived on your behalf. The king in Redport, she says questioningly, has brought a ship to Bontheris and moved goods here to Wicthron Renta as a offering to the Dragon Slayers of Drekis. The message thanked, I'm sure you can read it yourself, but thanked the three of you for ridding Arcadia of dragons. Gifts include 10 fine horses, 10 suits of chainmail, 3 matched snow leopard cloaks, and 3 matched panther cloaks, and a box of exotic spices valued at 5,000 gold.
Wow.
Personal
The king
thanks
of
from
where?
the king, Redport, in Wake County, far to the east.
Okay.
Maybe he's got some dragon problems of his own.
The second delegation is a offer from the Nomish nation of mighty engineers to supply your castle with 20 Nomish workmen and their families to help outfit it as needed.
Is Nomish craftsmanship considered exceptionally good, like Dwarven or whatever, or are they just...
It is creative, inventive,
Unreliable.
unreliable. It usually takes a lot longer to get made, but if you can get it to work, it's usually pretty fucking good. I will link you a document later that talks about what it's like to work with
that's
gnomes.
okay. I'll shake my head and I'll just say, this is an offer, they're not here, correct?
I told them that we would have to wait for your return before I could send 20 Nomish families to live in your castle.
If we must write back, I would simply tell them that we'll consider it in the future, but we can't guarantee safe passage for now. I think
These are matters for you.
Okay.
I would prefer not to be involved with matters of that island nation.
Okay. Anything else?
No, that is all for now.
Quite grim, but matters could be worse. Is there a time when the three of us can speak with you on our own?
Do you have things to say to me that you could not say in front of the Prince of Kershwick and the Princess of Solwick?
More things that I don't think they'd be interested in. Just personal family matters. It's been many weeks since we've spoken with you, and be nice to catch up quickly on some personal family issues.
Of course. How about dinner tonight?
Sounds good for the four of us.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
She
Right.
looks to the prince and the princess. Is there anything that you would add? And the Prince of Cronwick will step forward and say, I don't think the Queen has necessarily delivered the situation as intensely as I would have liked. I've come from Kershwick myself just today. Traveled all last night to get here in time. The speed with which Scoria has been able to demolish cities is absolutely terrifying. Coxport was entirely burned to the ground in a single day. Pernissus was attacked and destroyed over a series of 5 different raids scattered throughout time. Kershwick has been bombarded and burned. However, our buildings were far enough apart with enough stone in between that the wildfires that ensued did not sweep the whole city. If you had not arrived now, or if Scoria continues to attack now that you have arrived, Kershwick will be no more. I know not how long we can hold her off. Another 3 attacks through the town. Stoneport, Bonmay. The destruction is vast. Our ability to resupply, to move goods, has been damaged.
Why not? I mean, if the situation is as dire as you say, it's good that we made it back when we did, but hopefully we can ensure the safety of the kingdom now that we're here.
The Princess of Solwick will step forward and give you just a very brief overview of the sort of expectations of what's going on right now. She will tell you, she's going to give you just a brief rundown of Drekis's military capabilities here. At the very beginning of the war, back when people were still fighting over the fallen empire of Eridon, Drekis sent a fleet, 2 fleets actually, of its finest soldiers, all the readied knights who didn't need to be trained, all the great warriors of the land who were ready to fight that had already been equipped, and one of those 2 fleets completely sank, and the best and brightest that Drekis had to offer were lost. The remainder fought in in Eridon. Since then, there was a large attack into Mystria, where a large army group was lost in Dawn's Gate. Speaking about all losses so far in the war, Drekis has lost 11,800 soldiers and knights. There are currently 13,200 active soldiers and knights. For a total of 25,000, total ever drawn up forces. This represents sort of an optimal maximum, she will say. We can enlist more, we can conscript more, we can draw more forces from the existing population, but at that point it will have severe effects economically and distribution-wise. We will begin to hamper our own domestic abilities if we call up any more forces. In contrast, Mystria has about 2,500 active and 2,500 losses. We outnumber them 5-1, and we have, 4-1 loss. She'll just give you a scrap of paper. You don't need to remember these fucking numbers.
Okay.
And the former Eridonians, 800 have been pressed into service, working for Mystria. So in this document that I've just pinged you with in our Discord, green is Drekis, pink is Mystria, blue is Eridonians working for Mystria. So you can see that while we do absolutely have numbers on them, if there was no Scoria in the way, we would easily overrun them, but...
Well, then once the deed is done, the war is essentially over.
She nods. Yes. These numbers, of course, do not include Scoria's own personal armies and forces. Those have been hard to get exact numbers on. They've been more scattered. One thing to note is that while we do outnumber them, I think at this point, 5-1, their soldiers, what few they have, are, I hate to say... each of greater value than any of our own. These are people who have lived a long, hard life and have been fighting in war for a generation, perhaps. I hate to say it, but I think each one of theirs is worth 2 of ours.
Well, this war won't be won by units of men, I don't think. We've just got to hold our ground long enough for us to get the opportunity.
Of course. Tulla Solwick steps back. No one else has anything to say other than Arksomber, who welcomes you home, and the meeting can be adjourned and dismissed.
Okay.
I'll go up to Arksomber and say, I found a great deal in my travels. Perhaps we could schedule some time to talk.
I'm free now.
Hang on. I'll go and speak to Tyrell and Anton and say I need to go and speak to Sombar about wizard things. I'll be back tonight, but I think we should work out what our plan is. It sounds like we can't wait too long.
Sure. We'll talk to the queen tonight. Perhaps I whispered to Imric, don't reveal too much yet until we've had conversations with the queen, of course. Yes.
No, I'm speaking to her about spells.
Okay. We're having dinner with the queen tonight, I believe she said, yes?
Yeah.
And then in the meantime, I don't know if Anton has business, but I can hunt down the Elvish ambassador and I'll speak with him.
Okay.
Anton's going to be going and meeting with the Martha cleric.
Excellent.
Okay.
Right, well, we all split off into our own little things.
Okay. I think
time.
even though it's a little early for a break, this is a great spot to just pause it, and when we come back, we can
It's-
have each of you do a thing.
Gotcha.
It's not early, right? We started at 6:30.
Yeah, we did.
Oh, we did.
Yeah, I'll be back.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Koibu, are you back?
He's
You're
muted.
muted.
Well, hello, everybody, and welcome back. Conversations to be had. We're going to talk to the Elven Ambassador, we're going to talk to Ark Somber, and Mr. Mooton's going to talk to the Cleric of Martha. So, why don't we start with the youngest McGarry? Who is the youngest?
I am the youngest. And most
right.
handsome.
Yes.
I shall follow Ark Somber to her tower, if you know what I mean.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, you love being in her tower.
Yeah. But I'm just leaving that there, not pushing that any further. I go, I go to the tower, I make myself comfortable. I'm sure I have a spot that I sit in, we usually...
Yeah. Her, assistant shows up with some cups of tea and whatnot for the two of you to sip on. And Ark Somber will, take a load off, kick her feet up on a footstool, and ask what it is that you need.
Well,
what do you want?
First off, it's good to see you again. It's been some time. I fear that things have gone quite poorly in our absence, but hopefully now things can turn around. But I wanted to tell you of Glacier, where we've been. It was quite fascinating. And
frozen wasteland to the north is pretty much all I know of it. Some ancient empire.
Yeah, well, amongst many things, the way magic works there is completely altered. Spells would work or fail at random opportunities. Potions could have alternative effects. I got turned into a lava at one point for the duration of a polymorph spell. Sometimes you would drink a potion, there would be no effect, and then 3 hours later it would come into effect. We fought a death knight, all sorts of unbelievable things, and the magic that we found, the items, a great hoard, many pieces, more than we can make use of. I'm sure it'll take us some time to go through them, but there'll be something for you.
Why would there be so many magical items in a land where magic barely functions?
Well, I think that whatever is causing the magic to malfunction is a consequence of the people that lived there perhaps indulging too much. They had we visited one of their palaces. There was a permanent ring of identification. Any item you brought into it would be automatically identified and reveal its secrets to you. They had
extremely powerful.
A permanent portal that looked to have been able to be controlled to go to specific other places based on the choice of the user. It didn't function any longer, but yes.
Once upon a time, there was a great kingdom in the south that was said to be a source of most magical items that found their way into the world today. But as I understand it, Glacia lives in the far north?
Indeed, yes, the far north. I think that whatever happened there may have been the direct result of Drexel himself. I think we may have fought off some of his minions.
You said you brought gifts.
Well, not right now. There's so much to go through. We've barely had a chance to organize it ourselves, but I have robes and staves, more than I can use, so I'll have something for you once we have a chance to organize it. But also, my experiences there have led me to somewhat of a breakthrough, and I think I'm prepared to make progress on the next level of spells. And I was wondering if perhaps through your library here or through other sources you may know of anywhere where I could locate spells of the Sixth Circle.
She slowly shakes her head. The airship that still flies above Arcadia is the only place I know for where one might be able to find spells like that. But truly, Imric, you have far surpassed, no offense, but you have far surpassed anyone's expectations for you. I think you've outstripped even my own abilities.
Surpassed even my own expectations of myself, first and foremost, I can say that. It's been a strange journey, and I can't claim all the credit for myself.
You've truly entered a realm where I have nothing or very little left to teach you. You'll have to make your own way from here on out, I assume. You'll have to do your own research, your own spells. Unfortunately, that is extremely time-consuming. I think it would take you no less than 2 months to research a single spell of the Sixth Circle.
Yes, I'm afraid that I don't have the luxury of that amount of time, which is why I was hoping for perhaps, I don't know, a long-lost spellbook with spells of the Sixth Circle. Maybe I think the airship is my best bet. But you say you have nothing left to help me with, but I still value your counsel, your wisdom.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, I've been working on some spells myself, and I have a few more equations to finalize. I thought perhaps you may wish to assist me.
I have the rest of the afternoon free, although my services are needed elsewhere. The issue in Rencor is quite bothersome. Those 2 green dragons need to absolutely be tracked down before anyone can attempt to arrive. They could be waiting in ambush, or when they first attacked, the green dragons were the one to bear the brunt of the damage. They might be resting and healing somewhere. They could be badly wounded and lying in wait. That will take my afternoon, but I have some time now.
Good. Well, I'll get my spellbook. But there is no protection scrolls from gas or fire or cold lying around, is there? Or breath weapon even.
There have been some fire protection scrolls that were here, but they have been sent to Kershwick, Sulwick, Outlast, to all the principalities, for they have been under siege, and they rest with them. I don't know if I feel comfortable asking for them to be returned when they may be desperately needed to defend those places.
I understand. On that point, if you could help me in creating at least 3 protection from fire scrolls for when the time comes, they'll be needed. I can help if needed, but like you said, time's of the essence, and perhaps there's more pressing matters.
Protection scrolls do take, I think, a week or 2 of dedicated work. I will try to arrange my schedule such that I can be solely focused on such a task in the near future.
Fantastic.
She grabs a tome and starts flipping through it, looking for the specifics.
Well, I pull out my spellbook and we'll finish the final equations on my 3 spells that I'm going to try and roll for. And now might be the best time to do it.
Let us do it.
Hey, Nick. I got a good feeling about the second roll.
You got a good feeling about the second roll?
I got a good feeling about it.
So, let's get the macro view. How many spells are you rolling for right now?
Well, it's 3. I'm rolling for 3.
Right. Okay. And what is your percent chance to learn these 3 spells?
65?
Well, now that I've got that insight in... Oh, no, wait. Sorry. Yeah, it's just 60%.
60%?
Yeah, so I'm going to stick with what's been working, sort of, and go middle of the range. You know, we're talking, what is it? 20
to 79?
20 to 79, that's what I'm going for. Yeah, I think that's the way to do it.
Luckstone gives you an extra 1, right?
Yes, 20 to 80 now. No, it gives me an extra 5, does it?
I don't think it would work here, but it'd be 5%.
It might do.
Luckstone helps you avoid incoming danger. It does not help you learn your spells, unfortunately.
It could be dangerous to not learn your spell if your master's like going to beat you if you fail.
That's true.
Right?
Yeah.
That it would help you dodge your master's blows.
That's good.
That gives you AC. Nice.
Okay, I'll remember
If it was a
too,
saving throw. If it was a saving throw.
Okay, so first off, I'm going to do Disintegrate. Okay.
20 to 79.
That's the good one. That's the one.
It's alright. So you had a good feeling. So I'm going to learn Big B's Forceful Hand.
Nick, what are you
He's
doing?
gonna lose it.
Nick,
What the
What's the last
fuck?
one?
Well, I was going to take Contingency, but it's kind of useless on its own.
you can't re-roll the same spell you try to learn, right?
No,
Not
that
until
would
he
be...
hits the next level.
Oh yeah, I'm sure that'll happen any day now.
How long were you out last night drinking with everybody? Oh my god.
Yeah, too long.
Oh.
Oh, for God's sake, Neal, why do you do this?
Can we let him figure out his other spell and
Why do
let him roll
I
in a
do
minute?
this?
Yeah, why do you do this?
You know, I have that button that says make Nick roll poorly, and it's muscle memory. I can't help but push it every time you need to roll something.
Yeah, alright, well, whatever. I take... Let's just... Wait, did
Do you want to think about this?
No.
Okay.
No, I don't actually. I just
Do
want
you
to...
want to keep the middle still?
Yeah.
Are you gonna
Yes,
commit to the strategy? I
absolutely.
mean,
I'm
these have
sticking
both
to the
been low
middle, yeah.
rolls. Probability
I
says
know,
the next
but-
one's gonna be low too.
No, that's not how probability works. Okay, so I'm just gonna do. He's such bullshit.
If you just followed the normal
I'm
rules.
just-
That's
Go
true.
to
Instead of all
do-
these weird
Both of them.
convoluted dice rolls, you know.
Shut up! It's not my fault.
I want to do a 27.5 to
It's
What are you
one
gonna
of
do?
even numbers and then these odd numbers.
Okay, wait, Nick. What if you break it into ranges? Like do like 0 to
Yeah.
30, and then like 70
Yeah,
to 100.
you might
You
be
know,
right.
maybe that's good. We're basically
that's
playing
good,
roulette
yeah.
at this point, so why the fuck not? You know.
I'm just gonna do. Fuck it. I'm just gonna do permanent illusion.
Permanent illusion, 20 to.
All right.
Oh, she didn't. Okay.
All right, they are done. Anything
wanna
else
go
with
to?
Arc Somber?
No, that's it.
Then let's go to the next oldest. I think that is
Anton.
MrMouton. Anton. All right. You go to speak with the cleric of Martha here in the capital.
Anton wearing his new bat cloak, and his golden dragon armor, goes through the city to the Temple of Martha.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, it's nighttime, right? He turns into a bat. He flies there.
No, you met in the morning. I'm so sorry.
Sorry.
God damn it. Soon. Very, very soon.
So,
Okay.
he
You arrive at the
enters
temple.
the temple, opens the door, and he looks for the cleric. He's holding a shield.
Excellent. You can look around the temple. There are various servants and people going around doing their thing.
Think
Sorry,
I'm
I'm
waiting
just
on you,
trying to
right?
find
Yeah,
the.
you're good.
Yeah. I'm just looking for the appropriate background track. But if you ask about, you can find where she is. She's currently in her quarters, and you can speak with her.
I'll do a rap on the door.
She gets up, comes over, opens the door, and looks a little surprised to see you, and then sees the shield in your hand and raises her eyebrows. What is that? Do I see the rings of Martha bound round that shield?
Nobody cares about the golden dragon armor. I like that. That's good. Anton will hold out the shield and say, "This is from the great paladin, Athena. We had to dispose of her in her current Death Knight form, and I thought that a great relic like this would be best returned to you."
I don't think I know the paladin Athena. Paladin of Martha? Why do I not know this name? How come I've never heard of such a paladin?
I shrug. Did we have a book
You had a
entailing?
letter. You had a love letter that she had. That's it.
I would have probably grabbed the letter, so I'll hand her the letter and let her read.
Yeah, she looks. It's written in Old Glacian, and she doesn't know what the fuck to do with it right now. I'll pray on this. Perhaps Martha will allow me to perceive such a distant, lost language. She beholds the shield and kind of turns it over, brings you into the room to sit and talk. Let me take a quick look at Glacia. Death Knight. Okay, it was a non-magical shield.
Yeah.
Perfect.
I'll tell her how she fell, because I did time pool it, and if she'd like, I can show her.
She absolutely wants to know. She's never heard of this paladin before. Paladins of Martha are her jam, and so she sits in rapt attention as you time pool the moment, as you explain to her what happened. You'll hear a series of curses and prayers under her breath as you go over all the details.
Anton read the great book of the good paladins, so he still
Book of
remembers it,
Exalted
and he'll
Deeds. Yes.
He'll recount to her some of the readings that he went through.
Book of Exalted Deeds? Came into your hands?
I read every page of it.
By the gods. This place that you've been, we knew that you had left for some secret mission to acquire some tool to defeat the great enemy. I did not expect to uncover the ancient histories of Paladins of Martha and the process. By the accounts you've given me, this Athena woman strayed from her course and fell into ruin, lost her way, and became a Death Knight at the hands of the Drexel?
I shrug. Something on for you to meditate to Martha about. I just thought you should have that. Seems like it's in the correct hands now.
There are so very few paladins in this world. I understand that love is the death of duty, and here it seems to be the truth. You know, there is an old story about a civilization, a great empire that turned their back on the clerics of the world and embraced the wizards and the arcane and fell, all ruined. I was always under the impression that it was that they turned their backs to the gods that brought them to ruin. And I think this here only underscores that point. This Athena woman no longer saw a need to do her duty, thought that it could be taken care of by wizards and mages who have no real allegiances and just do as they see fit.
From what I remember from the letter, she tried her best to convince everybody what was happening, but nobody listened. I don't think it was Athena's fault.
Well, if she chose to spend her life in search of love instead of in search of duty, then she certainly is held responsible in some way. No one becomes a Death Knight without certainly having done something horrible. But more to the point, I know Velthara and Martha are not the greatest of aunt and niece. I know that there are great problems between the two, and your practice and mine do not always see eye to eye. I try to support life wherever I find it, and a cleric of vengeance is often one who takes lives unjustly. However,
try to get even for the little guy.
However, you and I both serve a greater purpose, greater creatures. We understand that the gods created this world. They can bring us out at any moment. Of the three Megaries, even though you and I may be the most divisive, I do believe your presence here is necessary to keep a clean and level head in this area. Your oldest brother has... Well, I don't know if you know the rumors that go about, but has connections to criminal organizations, and his loyalties are not always clear. And your youngest...
My oldest brother is the most noble man I've ever met and ever will meet. Don't speak that in front of me ever again. He gives
Does he not consult with thieves and murderers, brigands, gamblers?
Anton will get up and say, you have your shield. Our conversation's done. And he'll walk out and leave.
She calls after you. I did not mean any offense. I was simply... But I guess you're leaving, and you lose her words. Yeah. She doesn't chase after you. Later, you will get a written apology from her saying that she did not mean to...
He tears up the letter. He doesn't care.
Okay. And that will bring us to Tyrael, the eldest brother.
Hi.
You wanted to speak with the Elven ambassador, right?
Yeah, that was like the Playboy-esque guy or whatever, kind of, right?
No.
Which
The Elven
one?
ambassador is just an ambassador. There is an elf who goes around who is responsible for significant fraction of the half-elves in the area, but it is not the ambassador.
Oh, wait, what is that guy's role or job? That was the guy that we were
He doesn't.
using to...
He's just a fucking dude, man. He just walks
We've
around.
never met that guy in this campaign.
He has no relevance to the political situation. He's
known
just
sons in catacombs, so we met him.
He's just the fuckboy.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Wait, who's the guy that we gave the armor to do the moving?
Ambassador.
That's the ambassador. Oh, okay, gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. We don't need to deal with Jean-Pierre Cassé.
Okay. This guy was kind of weird though, right? The ambassador guy?
No.
He was just a normal dude?
He was super normal.
Okay,
Yeah.
fuck, never mind, alright. Yeah, I'll go and meet him whenever I can, yeah.
Yeah. No, he is here in his embassy.
Sure.
Surrounded by a wall with the great tree within which he resides. Is no problem for Tyrael McGarry to get an audience with him post-haste, and you will find yourself quickly walking through his gardens into the large tree where he sits down at a table, you opposite of him. Some small birds nest above him. He moves some of the debris from them away, pulls out a rag. This great elven ambassador who must be like 800 years old, but with his own hands cleans up the droppings of birds from within his own office. And then, tosses the rag gently into a bucket designed to hold these things, and turns his attention to you. Mr. McGarry, what brings you to my offices?
We've had conversations in the past. It sounded as though you guys had a direct line into Scoria's lair. It seemed as though her movements were quite constrained because of the movements you guys were able to do in contrast to her own. But it seems like as soon as me and my brothers left for a few weeks, she's laid ruin almost to half the kingdom. Excuse me for being candid and blunt, but neither of us have much time to speak. As you know, there's a lot going on. I just returned from an overseas trip. Can you tell me what happened?
The ambassador looks a little crestfallen. Yes. Yes, I can. Somewhat. In this war, there are 4 primary forces within Mystria. There's the Mystrian army. There's the Eridonian recruits. There is Scoria herself. And then there are Scoria's 4 generals and their own subunits. One of these units came to Yatel by boat. Took the city. It's an Akuban city of little regard to our purposes here, but we elves do honor all life everywhere, and Yatel sits right next to an elven city known as Thaden Laud, a fortified town well away from the rest of the shaped wood we control on the river Sindori, used as a marker between us and the Akubans so they do not press into the Hogwen plain. After the troops, men of Scoria arrived, our own warriors went to Thaden Laud in an attempt to drive them out. We cannot have Scoria's men and forces and materiel stationed on the borders of our woods. It was during our driving out of the general of Scoria from Yatel that the dragon took the opportunity to come and raid the Drakisian countryside. Unfortunately, we had to attend to matters of our own defenses. She pauses for a moment.
He, right?
Yes, he. Thank you. This is not necessarily a secret, but it is something we do not like to remind others of, but I will tell you here. Our numbers are not nearly as great as ours. The lands we control may equal yours, but we elves are a slowly reproducing race. I am 700 years old, about, and I have 5 children. As you can see, we do not... There are not as many of us as it may seem at times. Each of our warriors is extremely skillful and very useful, but we just simply don't have the numbers to attack Scoria and Yatel at the same time. Not meaningfully, not appreciably. We drove them from Yatel, and their boats have gone further to the west, sacking, destroying Syro and Zakat. Our people have returned to attempt to ward Scoria out of her range, but the beast is clever. She has been in multiple places at the same time. We believe, she is using illusory forms of herself, or someone with some strong illusionist within her own ranks is able to produce illusions where she is not, to beguile the truth. One of our raiding parties has fallen prey to this.
You say
Scoria had appeared in the Draken Wastes near Gold Hill, and our people went to Dragon Peak to attack her lair, hopefully to bring her back. But she was there in waiting and gobbled up our men. And the ambassador looks deeply saddened.
So I understand that these are grave matters of national security, or elven security, I guess we could say. If I could prod just a bit, you tell me Scoria's eaten some of your men. How many fighters can you field at any point in time? The way you describe it, it sounds like that number might be in the low hundreds even, if that.
I unfortunately cannot share those specific details with you. It is... we are a private, secret people, and we do not organize ourselves in quite the same way that you here do. We do not join in ranks and armies and have generals in quite the same manner. It's you would find our ways to be quite foreign and difficult to understand, but they have worked for us for some 1,000 years.
I nod. How long ago did you drive the fighters off of Yatel? Or the pillagers or the raiders, I should say.
The battle in Yatel was 4 weeks ago. 1, 2, this other way. 3, 4.
If it was 3 or 4 weeks ago, then that means that Scoria has still been ravaging these lands, even with you able to provide more of your attention towards her.
Yes.
So essentially, due to her illusory abilities or whatever she's been doing, her craftiness or cleverness, it's not much for us to rely on you to be able to keep her contained within her lair then.
I don't know why she has not used such illusory methods until now. I don't know if she was biding her time. I don't know if she has been waiting to bait us out, but to score.
I understand.
Was there...
If we were to perform any sort of covert or special military operation in the future, how much coordination is possible between our fighters and yours? Would you allow it?
If the plan was solid, and if we perceive the risks to our own to be low enough, we would join in with such a thing. Scoria is a bane on the world and needs to be destroyed, and we will do our part to do so. But as long as it is human lands that are suffering the brunt of the damage, it will be nigh impossible to rally our individuals to that cause.
Okay. I nod.
As I said, our soldiers are not loyal to a crown to follow orders specifically. Each one is a volunteer and chooses when and how they will engage.
I understand.
It would need to be sold to each person.
Okay, well, I don't believe I have any more questions for you. I'll go to Stand. Does he have anything else for me?
Is it true your brother wears scales of gold?
I wish that was the most troubling thing my brother wore. We've been through a lot.
That is all then. The ambassador gets up, shakes your hand. As always, Mr. McGarry, it is a pleasure to meet you.
And you as well. Hopefully I'll see you again in the future. And I leave.
I wish you good luck, and you guys part. All right. I guess later that evening, our party members come together.
Queen
somewhere
dinner
in the
time?
capital. Yeah. Unless there's something you want to say before
Queen
dinner.
fucking time, am I right?
Nice one. Yeah, it's dinner time, I think.
Splendid. Great. Party gathers together. You get dinner with the queen that evening. Long table, sort of in a empty.
I wear the
otherwise
golden
empty
dragon
hall.
armor.
To dinner.
Yes.
No, we would, as we're leaving the house, we would tell you to leave that at home.
Are we not wearing armor to dinner?
No, it would be like you showing up with a giant cloak that had the N-word on it. We're not doing that, okay?
All right, I'll wear the green dragon armor to dinner.
No, we'll tell them to make us. Well, you wouldn't wear. I don't imagine you'd go with full armor. You're like clanking around, like past the salt, like.
Okay, well then I can tell you then yes, Anton is wearing armor to dinner. The color can change, but he's going to wear his armor to dinner. He's not expecting a fight, but if Scoria, comes, I don't want to be with my dick in my hand.
Okay, well, I will be wearing my nice, noble silken clothes or whatever the fuck we wear.
Your personal bodyguards, those that remain, will insist, on escorting you around the city as you go. Rumors of spies abound. There have been actual physical attacks on you. If you're going, to walk through the city, your personal bodyguard will follow you. They'll, wait outside the castle or whatever. But about town, they absolutely insist on protecting you.
That's fine.
Okay, cool. Just to put that in the background.
Yeah. I think I can wear my robes and stuff, right? And that's kind of normal for a wizard to do.
Sure.
Yeah.
Imric doesn't have a bodyguard anymore.
It's true. Neal is dead. Neal will no longer protect you.
Wait,
Neal's
not dead.
Well,
Wait,
He's just misplaced.
yeah, he's in another place. He'll come back. There's
He'll-
no
yeah.
way that Koibu would randomly have a guy, Dragon Arbor, just walk off into nothingness without anybody
Surely.
knowing. There's no way. We should be. Wait, have we used clairvoyance? Wait, we're back. We've been using
We
that
haven't tried
fucking
him
ball.
yet.
Why haven't we been using the
Yeah,
ball every
okay,
day?
well, crystal ball and Neal. Well, crystal ball Neal. That's a good point. We
Yeah.
should do that.
You find his body frozen in the wastelands, dead.
What?
Yeah, he's dead.
I pour out a drink for him.
How does a mighty
Wait,
warrior like that just randomly die? Did he
Wait.
get retarded and just fall, or die? What?
he probably starved to death or froze to death. And
Yeah.
where is this? Can we tell if it's Glacia? Because if not, we can teleport and get his shit.
No, it's somewhere in Glacia. It's like a frozen wasteland. Yeah.
Okay.
We'll time pool his death.
Yeah.
No, we
Nice
won't. We have to
story.
time pool him getting. That's wild.
We
It
already
was
time
his-
pulled him missing, and it was just a gust of wind. Then he was
Yes.
gone. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, we're at dinner.
Yeah.
Don't
let's
let
go
us
to that.
sully our appetite, okay?
Yeah, we see
you
it
have
on the
dinner?
way over. Oh, should we check in on Neal just as we're walking through the door to the dining room? Oh. That's unfortunate. I put the ball back.
Yep. You can have dinner with the queen. It's nice
We bring
food.
our backpacks of shit, right, or no?
Backpack.
I
Yeah.
asked Gabriel before we go.
Yeah, we'll always have like our backpack of shit or whatever. I'm sure we said it's our.
Okay, cool. Just making sure. Yep.
Yeah. She eats with you. The food is good. She's got a taste tester there to check all the food before she tries any of it. Very publicly in front of you, and then the taste tester is dismissed and comes back to sip some wine from time to time, and just dismissed. There's some bodyguards in the room, as usual, but otherwise it's the four of you in a relatively quiet setting with the table far too long for the situation. All of you clumped down at one end
Good.
with her.
I whisper, or I talk in a quiet voice to the queen. I didn't wish to demean you or bring any doubt to our military plans in front of the foreign royalty, but I must ask, what's happened in our absence? It seems unfathomable that Scoria could make so much progress in such a short amount of time with us being gone. Surely we're not the only pieces of the military capable of resisting her or any advances by her military, no?
No, you're not. Outlast has managed to do so very well. Bontheris itself held off Scoria impressively. The spellcasters there, clerics and wizards alike, along with the reinforcements of missile weapon ballistas, did keep her at bay. Some of the woods were burned, outlying villages destroyed, but nothing severe. These other situations have been dark and terrible. Scoria appears overhead without warning, opening volleys with dragon's breath. In Coxport in particular, she let herself be ridden by servants who brandished wands of fireball and bombarded the city. It took only 20 or 30 minutes before Coxport was entirely aflame and they were gone and the whole city burned to ground.
What kept her from making so much progress in the past? Before we were armed well, or?
She's scared of us.
No, surely not. Not before.
Not
Do
before
you think 6 months ago we could have... I'm not even sure if we could kill Scoria today. It's still highly questionable. The preparation needs to be perfect. The situation needs to be prepared for it. The idea that it's only us keeping Scoria from raising villages, she could appear over a port right now and raise it, and there's nothing we could do for it.
The queen nods. We have spent much time hypothesizing over this. My leading theory is that Scoria is an ancient beast. She has ruled over Mystria for some time and has contented herself to their tax dollars, their gold, to harass the elves for fun and go off from time to time and do her things elsewhere off this island. Before this war, she was never interested in conquering Drekis or burning our towns or cities. In fact, when the war began, she didn't even get involved, not until our men and materiel pushed past Dawn Gate and Stout End into the deeper lands of Mystria. Only then did she come out and assist in the war. My going theory is that she does not care about the war, that it is not important to her, that it is a matter for us mere mortals. At least until, as Shine has said it, your dragon-slaying weapons came into being. I think that may have drawn her ire and has brought about her wrath. I also think that she fears them.
How is Mystria doing? I feel like we disabled one of their mines, we'd freed some prisoners, they've been undergoing sabotage and attacks. Are the Mystrian armies just marching around as though nothing had ever happened, or how are the actual humans doing?
They stay beyond the River Vodin to the lands of Mystria. The numbers are few, maybe 2,500 total, less than a fifth of what we possess. Their armies are small, moderately well equipped, but highly skillful. The people of Mystria, while suffering greatly, have made some progress. They have aligned themselves with the Matavans in the south and received supplies from them. They have conquered Blue Cliff in the north, where there are great crops of wheat and grain and food that have been stored in Blue Cliff and Confluence that they have taken for themselves. That is one of those matters that I'd like to speak to you about later. There's a great cache of foodstuffs in Blue Cliff that they have been ferrying over to Mystria for some time. I think we could perhaps... there's progress to be made there. Yes. It's a longer conversation for another time. There are, civilian casualties to be considered if we care about such things. Well, bigger question. There are bigger things to worry about than a few civilians.
What is the general feeling around the kingdom now that we've lost so much territory so quickly? Are the soldiers still fighting as valiantly as they once were? Do the citizens still maintain their loyalty to the crown? Do people feel like we're still winning, or what is the situation on the ground in the cities?
I'm not entirely sure. I think it varies from place to place. Here in Wicthron Renta, everyone still has high hopes. The famed McGarry brothers and their dragon-slaying weapons, fireballs and invisibility. All of this goes very well here. It was not until the influx of refugees from Kirschwick and Bonmay and Stoneport that things may have taken a more serious tone. Up until now, there has been much frivolity and high expectations. I expect in places like Cronwick or Whalers Bay that are occupied or besieged that opinions are darker. However, they've only been that way for some weeks, and there is no information in or out. It would be a mistake to view the morale of the nation as a monolith.
I nod. Understood. I'll look to my left and right and see if my brothers have anything they want to say.
Should we not perhaps...
It's time to have the conversation.
I'll look to the queen. I think that we need to have a very important conversation regarding the ongoing matters of the war, the future of the kingdom, perhaps the future, I guess, of both of our families. Would you agree to have a conversation with me later tonight in a zone of truth?
It bothers me that you feel the need to speak to me with magical enchantments. Do you not trust me? Is there something I should be concerned about? Have we not been frank and honest with one another from the get-go?
I believe we've both been frank and honest with each other as much as we can, which is why I don't think a zone of truth would be any impedance to either of us having an honest conversation.
If I may interject, I think perhaps it's more so you know that you can trust Cyril.
We've seen a great number of amazing and unfathomable things in the lands that we've traveled. Some of these things, perhaps even premonitions of the future. I'll be honest, there are things that I'm worried about. I'm sure you're a clever woman. There are things that you're worried about as well. Perhaps speaking under a zone of truth, we could just ensure that both of us are saying everything as honestly as we possibly can.
She finishes up her plate and crosses her silverware over it and pushes it away. A servant quickly comes and clears it for her. Trust between us aside, there is something to be said for the symbolic nature. If I am the queen here, these are the lands that I rule. Allowing my subordinates to question my honesty does not paint me in the best light. I don't know if I can acquiesce to such a request, although if it's a matter of trusting you, I trust you implicitly. I do not need you to sit in a zone of truth to believe what you say. Can you imagine the rumors that would fly around that Tyrael McGarry demanded that the queen speak to him within the confines of a zone of truth spell?
I could never imagine such a thing because I can't imagine anybody at this table would be foolish enough to spread such rumors. It would bring harm to both of us. Maybe to you for allowing yourself to be put under a zone of truth, and to us for even making such a demand. It's a noble family.
Well, as much as I wish, rumors never escaped walls. The truth always has a way of coming out. Is this...
I think Tyrael can still say what needs to be said.
I shake my head. Absolutely not. I think we need the full faith and trust of magical enchantments to make sure that both of us are being as forthcoming as possible. I'll remove from my cloak, I guess, a piece of parchment that I had written down all of the magically enchanted items on. And I will, I'll slide it across to the queen. And I'll say, I'll let her take a look over it for a moment.
She reads through it and seems impressed.
Just a little impressed, that's it. She's just like, whatever.
Her eyes don't go wide.
30 plus
You don't get
2
to be
sword.
the queen of the world by the queen of Drekis by allowing yourself to be like, oh my god, and shocked by everything. You got to keep a level, steady head and seem not surprised by anything. You got to stay cool.
I think that the three of us might have located a stash of these items that we list before you. I think they might be pretty easy for us to procure. But obviously, looking over what's here, this would be more magical wealth than perhaps what's contained in the entire lands of Drekis. Just looking over what we've believed to have been found so far.
Yes.
But I'm a bit hesitant to proceed further with this, just because none of us seem to know what a post-Scoria world might look like, or what our positions in that world might be. Which is why I wish to have a frank and honest conversation with you about everything that's going to be forthcoming, whether Scoria wins or loses, about where all of us will be, I guess, in that new world.
I don't think we need to worry about what happens if Scoria wins. We won't be there to see that world.
Yeah, perhaps, I shrug. Who knows what Scoria wants at this point? Victory to her might just be the raising of a city or two, and maybe she hides back in her cave forever, but I understand what you're saying, of course. Do these items interest you? Do you think that any of this would have a formidable impact on Kingdom's ability to resist, or... If not, perhaps the three of us could secure this for our own household in a small outing later on.
Where are the wands? Magic missile, 5 of them. As my advisors tell me, Scoria is strongly resistant to magic. Under normal circumstances, I would say wands of lightning bolts or wands of fire could easily turn the tides of any battle. We've seen that when Scoria has these at her disposal, it is a quick thing to destroy a town.
Scoria is not the only enemy the kingdom fights, though. There are still Mistreant soldiers and other minions controlled by Scoria, yes.
Certainly. Those battles can be dealt with classically, or these would easily help turn those tides without any problem. I admit that this concentration of power is somewhat troubling. Should they fall into the hands of the enemy, they could widely decimate our forces. I would want to, wherever these are, I would want to make sure that they do not end in the wrong hands.
Of course, we both feel the same.
Of course. She taps the page where it says Ring of Telekinesis. Do you have 6 of these?
I believe so. I think 2 that can lift 1,000 pounds of equipment, 4 that can lift, I think, 200 pounds of equipment.
I would personally be interested in one of those. And this Rod of Splendor, I do not know what that is, nor can I guess based on its name.
It's quite a fascinating piece, actually. The first part of it is it confers anyone holding it incredible charisma and the ability to influence the actions of others. Useful for a ruler. And the second, of which it has 19 charges, it can summon an extremely large pavilion tent with food for feasting a small regiment of men.
And I also point to the, was it called the Armor of Chivalry, I think?
The Armor of Command.
Armor of Command. Another valuable piece of equipment for leading troops in battle, perhaps.
Does the Armor of Command also confer a heightened sense of splendor, of charisma, of leadership?
Of course.
Those 2 things I would only worry about ending up in the hands of a usurper, someone who would try to amplify their personality, create a cult of personality around them with such things. I do not mean to offend, but those I would prefer you not wear or use. It might blur the line between command structures.
Are you not worried that line might be already blurred? For us to step out of the kingdom for 4 to 5 weeks, and for cities and ports to fall to Scoria in our absence?
My dear nephews, you are most definitely our greatest asset and strongest weapon at this point in time. And yet, I don't think there has been much in way of confusion about who rules and who fights.
I nod.
None of you.
Yeah.
Your mother, of her own volition, stepped down in order to marry your father. None of the 3 of you have ever had eyes for the throne, as I understand it. And if either of you 3 would, Scoria would quickly become a secondary problem. I think a war between our family would not go well. I don't know how the kingdom would recover from that. Even if one of 2 sides were to prevail, split loyalties, run deep, I don't think that the other principalities would follow one of you. They've all been vying for the throne on some level, waiting in the background for a chance. The children of the not disgraced but personally dismissed former queen would find trouble gathering these the principalities to their side. On the other hand, destroying our greatest weapon would undoubtedly reduce my ability to lead anyone anywhere. I think if the two of us, she says, looking directly at Tyrael in the eyes, were to come to disagreement on any particular matter, it would mean the downfall of all of us.
I nod. I would like to agree with that. But if we've been built and we've been sold as dragon-slaying weapons, I just worry sometimes about what a post-dragon war world would look like with us still in it. You're a clever woman. I'm sure you've thought as much as anybody else, if not of your own, because people like Arxombra told you to, that there is the possibility that the three of us might try to make a bigger play afterwards. I'm not saying that we would. We obviously have no desire to. But I guess it might be strange magic playing tricks on our mind, but I had many visions when I was in Glacia, and I would be lying if I said I wasn't troubled by both what had come to pass and ended up ultimately being true, thinking of Teresa being disintegrated, and what potentially could come true in the future.
Perhaps this is a conversation for a more private chamber, and she says, looking around at the servants who are here to like take your dishes away and whatnot. She's already finished with her food. Probably by now you are as well.
Yeah.
She gets up and says, come with me. Why don't we head to a more private place? And she will lead the way. Her bodyguards will fall in line behind her. You'll notice that one of the bodyguards will give the three of you like a nice slow look as the queen like turns and walks away, and takes an extra moment gauging each of your eyes before falling in line behind her, clearly wary of the
Good. When he looks at me, I give him a
looks at me,
stern.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of eye fucking
real
going
right
look.
now.
A real look.
I smile at it.
She'll lead you back through some halls, down to the ground level, below the ground level, into a basement level area, and bring you to a large wooden door that seems to be like lined with some sort of like oilcloth around it. She will open the door and step into a room filled with like hot air and steam. There are a couple of cubbies along the walls, a cobblestone floor here that leads to a chamber beyond, which has the dripping sounds of water and like the humidity of like a sauna or a hot bath. The queen will motion for the three of you to step in. One of the bodyguards will follow in after. Another bodyguard will stay outside, and there are some partitions in the room. This is the royal sauna or the royal baths that are buried beneath the keep. And she says, in here, there are no ears to listen. And then she will step behind one of the partitions and change into appropriate bathing sauna gear.
Told you.
Why?
Wait, I say, what are the names of the bodyguards, Neal? Do we know them?
Not by name, but you're familiar with their faces.
Are your friends going to be joining us in the water?
No. One will stay inside. I cannot be left alone. They will not let me. They would defy my orders, even.
When she's gone changing, I'll whisper to Tyrael and ask him if he wants to bring up the Zone of Truth again, now that there's nobody here, or how he's feeling about it, because I do have a scroll with me that we could use. That's it.
I'll try it one more time, but yeah.
Are we all getting out of our gear and stuff here?
Well, I just wore my clothes, so if Anton wants to wade into the water in his full fucking armor,
Anton's just gonna kind of hang out, like with the bodyguard, you know.
But it seems that's the implication, right? We're meant to be getting into our undergarments.
I mean, it's a hot steam room. it's very uncomfortable to hang out in your armor in here, but you can do it. And she's going into the bath, into the hot saunas. You
I'll
can
go
hang
in.
out if you.
Yeah,
You
I
can
will
hang
go
out
in.
outside in your gear if you want, Anton.
Anton is
There's,
going to hang out near the bodyguard.
Totally.
Obviously,
Hang on,
there's an
hang on.
implication here, but yeah.
Yeah.
Just in case, though, I will take a spell component with me. I'll just work out what it is, but you can carry on.
What spell component?
Yeah, are you going to be carrying it like above your head when you go into the
No,
sauna?
something small that I can conceal. That if I need to cast it, I can.
Okay,
I'm
something
not sure
small
what
enough to
spell it
hide
is,
in
yeah.
your hand.
Or
Yeah.
What is it?
I don't know. Yeah, I'm not sure what spell. I'm not sure what spell it is yet.
Okay.
But, I mean, actually, I can cast magic missile.
Blast her out up the butt.
What I'll do is, right, as I'm disrobing, I reach into a pocket and pull out a live spider, which I am gonna let walk along the floor near the side of the bath, and I'll just have it in my peripheral vision, so I just keep an eye on it, as I know where it is in case I need it.
The spider walked away.
Yeah. But I'm watching
Yeah.
it.
okay. Jesus.
Okay. Once in the hot steaming baths, the queen sort of kicks back onto the far side of the natural rock here and sort of lets herself float a bit. This is probably the first time you've seen her in such a vulnerable position.
First time
The
that she
Queen
knows.
of Drekis is rarely, without bodyguards and rarely without the trappings of her royalty.
Rarely without clothes too.
Rarely without garments, but here amongst family she feels comfortable enough and safe enough to strip herself of probably magic clothes that she wears that provide AC or protection in some way, shape, or form. You notice that she still maintains her rings and a necklace and some earrings and a couple of other jewelry aspects, probably enchanted, to keep herself safe or whatnot. But here it's very clear that her guard is down. The bodyguard will stand sort of behind her, not behind her, but let's see. There's a changing room and then the bath, and the bodyguard is in between the two, looking sideways, so he's not staring down the queen in the bath.
Cool. We can go into the water with our jewelry on then, right?
Totally, yeah.
Awesome.
I mean, you could go in with your clothes if you wanted. It would just be
No, that
sort
would
of
be
weird.
kind of weird. Yeah, we're good.
Yeah. She floats. So. Speak.
Well, if your plan was to seduce me, I'll have you know, and I'll point to my amulet. This is an amulet of charm resistance, so it won't work.
No, not my nephew. I think love is a part of my life that is over for now. I have, of course, my concubines, but I look for no
Course.
more young flesh.
I must ask, now that we're a bit more private, why the reluctance for any sort of spell ensuring both of us are telling the truth? Or maybe perhaps even before you consider that question, consider from my point of view. What would you do in my position if you were poised as the prime dragon-slaying weapons of the kingdom, and then the dragon was slain, and now a new world exists where no such tools are needed anymore? All they represent is a potential threat to your rule. Do you think it's really foolish of me to be worried?
What am I going to do, Tyrael? Come up behind you and slit your throat? I don't think... At this point, I don't think I could kill you if I wanted to. Maybe a trap could be set. Certainly Scoria will try. Maybe there is some sort of long ploy to get you killed. But to what end?
I think a year ago, the three of us were much, much, much younger, more naive. I think we underestimated your cleverness quite a bit. You are the queen. You've been the queen for many decades now. That's no accident, I'm sure. Sometimes I worry, though. We've grown a lot in a year. It feels as though you may underestimate our cleverness. Surely if you wanted us killed, I don't think it's beyond you to effect such an end. And I think there's a number of tools at your disposal that you could enact in order to do so. I mean, hell, you could have 20 guards, perhaps behind a pillar right here down right now, ready to take us hostage, and there's not much we could do about it.
I could have poisoned your wine, I
Anton
suppose.
smirks.
You could have, and boy, if any wine in this kingdom was poisoned, I'm pretty sure Imric would discover it quite quickly.
I'd have found it.
What of us after Scoria's fall? I'm concerned about the safety of my family's name. I'm concerned about the safety of my family members. At this point, I'm not even sure where Anton is going to be after we've slain Scoria. Imric seems to be desiring to stay in the kingdom. Obviously, I will as well.
The queen looks up at Anton, still in all his armor, and goes, Anton, I've known you my whole life. I've seen your scars. You need not fear judgment. The waters are safe and warm. Please.
Anton,
Are you going somewhere? She quickly moves on. Are you leaving us?
In more ways
might
than
need
one,
my
maybe.
supplies. Sounds like we're all fine and dandy with the zone of truth, and he'll pull out the scroll.
The queen holds up a hand. Not quite, young cleric. Please,
wait.
let us talk. Are you leaving? Tyrael
I
said
think
that you might not be with us.
Oh.
Anton will, First off, I don't know how Tyrael knows that.
I'm not talking about you going to Solemn or anything. I just mean in
Okay.
terms of like you are like you do a lot with your amulet and you're communing with Velthar, and that seems to be a thing that you do. Like you have your whole own people that you like set
that
up
makes
to.
more
Yeah,
sense.
yeah.
I thought you were doing the solemn thing. Okay.
No.
Anton will shrug. I don't plan on leaving, my queen. But I do have my duties to the church and to Velthara. You understand that?
Have I ever wronged you, Anton?
Anton will shake his head no.
Have I ever demeaned you or your family?
No?
Do you have any reason to want vengeance upon me?
No.
See? I fear the three of you not. I don't believe that Anton, cleric of Velthara, some might even say high cleric or grand cleric of Velthara, would be part of some sort of coup without at least some reason.
I think
And as for
we're all in agreement then, right?
young wizard McGarry over here, the kingdom has much riches. It's very difficult to become a greater mage when you are busy fighting off invaders and threats. I can't imagine Imric would have much stomach for regicide, killing your own aunt, or anything involved
Absolutely
in that.
not. Absolutely not. Now, maybe we could turn to another part of the discussion, Tyrael. Perhaps we should talk about what happens with our enemies' lands.
Yeah, well, that's part of the question. What does a post-Scoria world look like? We've got the lands of Mystria. We've got still an Akuban civil war going on, I believe, right? Is it Akuban or?
The Kuban,
That's
yeah.
been settled, I think.
Is it?
We
is
do
it-
have our sights on Gold Hill, however.
Yeah, there's.
Well, well. Any ruler holds many keys to power. The three of you are perhaps the strongest military keys, but political keys, not so much. Not here within Drekis, at least. I think the three of you are almost free to pick any lands you want. Some lands have been promised to certain peoples already, but there are large swaths of territory and positions above those that have yet to be filled. It's difficult to promise people things so early in wars. I usually like to wait until conflicts are near to resolved before doling out lands, titles, honors, wealth, castles.
Well,
What do you want?
in the interests of holding Mystria, to put in place a ruler within the existing power structure there might be the best way to control an occupied territory and avoid long-term conflict.
Oh God! By the gods, would you want that duty? If you would like it, one of you may have it. Clearly, unless you want to create it some sort of triumvirate. I would be happy to hand over rulership of Mystria to a loyal and worthy person or group. It seems like the least desirable of any possible position.
Mystria
Well-
does have the only mithril mines in the lands, right?
It does.
Perhaps,
Yeah.
perhaps at first, but it would ensure long-term prosperity for the family of whoever is chosen. In the longer term.
I think also Mystria represents an opportunity as well. If we're running all of the farmlands near... Okay, wait, what? Did we get the lands where our keep is?
Yeah.
We
the
did get
Riverlands,
those,
yeah.
right?
We're on the Riverlands.
So if we have the Riverlands back, we're producing a lot of food. We obviously have almost limitless financial ability to rebuild. I think that we could probably get Mystria back on track pretty quickly.
It would be a long, ugly task, but someone will have to do it. If the three of you are asking for that position, I would hand it to you with a smile upon my face and my own personal thanks. Finding someone to control mystery afterwards is a difficult job, and I have not found someone suited for it yet.
But if Tyrael is to be king, what does that make you?
Well, I would be the regent of this particular land. I wouldn't be like the king, right?
Well, perhaps not. Like I said, the Mystrians may find it easier to accept if there is a king on the Mystrian throne, even if said king bows the knee to someone else.
I suppose that would make Tyrael, in this case, king, and that would make me empress.
A promotion.
And a thing that might help the two families make sure everything is okay would be a joining of your youngest. What's her name again?
Famia?
Famia?
Famia.
Of Famia taking the McGarry name, and I want to gauge her reaction to this.
She considers. I have a slightly older daughter, Celeste. Might not she be more? I know she's more homely, but well, either way, I have no qualms with that. That seems fine by me. You hold my daughter hostage.
Betrothed, isn't that like a nicer way to say that? Jesus.
Betrothed.
I thought we were trying to speak openly and honestly down here.
Well, there is also the other option that Tyrael could marry into the Mystrian royal family, legitimize his rulership there.
Mystrian royal family is brand new. A new king came into fold just early on.
That's
in
the
days
old
of
family
war.
then.
I think they're dead. I think the whole family's been wiped out. Every last one of them.
Also,
Maybe
how
more,
much
yes.
legitimacy would the old royal family have? Didn't we see I believe we watched in a time pool when Scoria walked up to the king and basically said, "I run this shit now," right? Didn't we watch that? So fuck
But
that family.
the other nobles in Mystria will still be required to. I doubt we're going to gut out every noble family in Mystria, so
We
they'll
won't
still
gut them
hold some
out, but I doubt they
allegiances.
would look to a family that turned to Scoria to conduct war any more than they would to a new family coming in. Consider how young this one is.
I think it'd be
Perhaps.
best for all of us if we continued on with the talking of Celeste or Famia.
Famia?
Famia.
Well, that would
Okay.
mean my grandson or granddaughter would rule after you. You would have my youngest all to your own. I think that would be a very nice way of keeping the peace. It would ensure that neither of us would try to take the other. Not that I expect that to happen, but if that is something that you fear, if you fear retribution or murder on my behalf,
And they would keep the
she
McGarry
looks to
name.
Anton. There is a certain amount of distrust that emanates from you, Anton. It
I
follows
can
you.
tell you, after this whole Scoria thing, and he says this candidly, you won't have to worry.
Good.
Tyrael looks to Anton as well. I don't say anything, but
I think what's important to understand is, we live our life day to day in such deadly and dangerous situations that it does help fuel the buildup of paranoia in one's heart.
Completely understandable.
Exactly.
But take my daughter and take the new lands and govern them yourself, as long as you are king and I am empress. We could unite all of Arcadia under one rule, return this place to the empire it was before the gods saw fit to strike the world and split it in parts.
He gives her a look. All of Arcadia? Even the eastern half?
In time, perhaps.
Why not?
Well, I think at this moment there's not much there. There's sort of ruined countryside. I don't know if it is. It could be claimed, but it would be sort of a useless claim until there are people who live there. That is probably a many generations task to resettle those areas. But yes, we might have to make exceptions for Wake County, or maybe not. I don't know if a second war quite so quickly is really in our interests. Then again, with great dragon slayers on our hands, perhaps. Although I feel that is more of a war of conquest that is unjustified. I'm not quite ready to make plans on that behalf yet. As for the Akuban dogs, we had almost made peace with them. We have a promise to marry their family to ours, but everything there is so... Ugh.
Well, I do think that
amongst themselves, even.
if we can deal with the dragon, then perhaps we could choose the most favorable outcome in Akuba's civil war and make it happen ourselves.
Perhaps.
Remember, I spoke to you about our friends, the Wayfarers, and they requested a meeting with you to discuss the fate of Eridon once this is all over. I'm not sure if you've spoken to them yet, but I would just remind you of that fact when discussing that topic.
They have been instrumental in helping us accomplish many of our great deeds. Perhaps they would have been impossible without their assistance, so...
Are they
Indeed.
trustworthy?
Yes.
Under a zone of truth they are. I smile.
One of them died fighting for us in Glacier.
Which one?
The cleric.
Teresa.
Disintegrated by a beholder. Her fate was foretold in visions to us from the moment we arrived. It was very unsettling.
Among other things that were foretold, so...
You've made many references to that. What visions have you seen?
Conversations between you and some of your cabinet about how to dispose of us post-war.
Well, I can tell you that no such conversation has ever happened. And I have no intention of holding such conversations.
Can I get a charisma check?
Absolutely. Yeah, give me your charisma check here. Read her face.
I'll do one too. I'm right next to her, okay? I should be able to... Yeah.
Yeah.
I got it with a +6.
She seems to be completely telling the truth to you, Mr. Moon. 100%.
Okay, I'm breaking out the nat 20 here. The campaign-breaking nat 20, because I'm going to kill the queen when I detect the lie in her face, okay? Fuck.
Yep. Definitely telling the truth.
Well, I look to Tyrael and give him a look as if to say, you know, we've got exactly what we wanted. Like, sort of a smile with a... like, this is it.
I nod.
I give Tyrael a look.
I don't trust her.
No, I'm curious if he wants me to, like, take a magic sword out or whatever at this point. Okay, I see, like, that, and
No, what? No?
Yeah, I wait, yeah.
As for your Wayfarer friends, the fate of Eridon, there are plenty of places, plenty of positions that they could fill if they have a town they want, or lands, but I'm sure we can find something for them.
I think what they really wanted was for it, when the new Empress of Drakus seeks to take control of her rightful lands of Eridon, that the existing rulers there and the existing people are not abused, and perhaps a peaceful solution could be sought where possible.
Wonderful. I do
Conversation
love
for another
promising
day.
people things I will already intended to do, especially if it can be a form of payment. There is only the question of a few small forces left scattered about, the dwarves. The Queen of Eridon is missing. Stromheim is sort of in ruins. There's still some people there. Small potatoes compared to what we deal with here. Although if you do hear anything about the Queen of Eridon, do let me know. She has vanished, and by all accounts, it was not intentional, and it was not forewarned to the rest of the population. Her body has not
the
been
golden
discovered.
dragon vanished as soon as it was needed most.
Speaking of golden dragons, she says, sort of like sitting up after floating across the water for a while.
Surely,
This shine creature is most peculiar.
surely you don't believe the old tales about the dragons representing good or evil, no? All of them seem to be crafty, clever beasts, only looking out for themselves based on our dealings with them.
Indeed.
For the most part, I agree with you.
My view of dragons has dwindled significantly these past years.
I will say that in my experiences with dragons, and I have met a few in my time, there once was a silver who lived here, as I'm sure you remember. The silver dragons and gold dragons have always kept their words, and I spoke with Shine and clarified with her whether she meant as an advisor or as a servant. And she said in exchange for the weapons you possess, she would serve 5 generations of our family.
As a generation, is that like 20 years, or what does that mean? Or just like daughter,
Well,
whatever?
my life, and then whoever inherits after me, their life, and whoever inherits after me, their life. That is a much different arrangement than the gold dragon Nixium had with in Stromheim.
One thing that's interesting is given 1 or 2 more big adventures, Belthara may grant me Age Dragon. And if I could cast that on Shine, I mean, we could do anything if she's a servant to the kingdom.
Perhaps at that point, she could even defeat Scoria.
Herself, yeah.
Do you think Shine would assist us in the battle? She said that she cannot fight Scoria alone, but if she was a servant, her aid may make up for the lack of the weapons.
Yes, she made it very clear that she would help in any way, shape, or form, that she would risk her own life for our cause and follow my orders, whatever they may be.
It's not out of the question, I don't think, Tyrell.
It might be. We'll see. These weapons are probably going to be instrumental in slaying Scoria.
I agree. We'll have to deal with the chromatics first.
We will. I think our first order of business will be, we'll have a conversation with that dragon in the forest to the west, and then we'll probably head to Rencor, and we'll clear the dragons out of there. Although, apparently we need to be careful, as they've set traps. We probably don't want to raise the entire city, so we try to free them.
I don't think that the dragon's going to take so kindly to a conversation, Tyrell.
I think we should deal with the
I
other
think we should
chromatics.
just go and then talk.
Well,
Don't
we
give her
can't
a
go
chance
if
to
we
say
go
no.
if we go to Rencor and we slay the other dragons, we might lose the opportunity to talk to this one. And if we talk to this one and it's going poorly, then perhaps that's our best time to slay her before we go to Rencor. No?
If you leave tomorrow and come back the next day successful, I think that we could probably get away with it. It might be easy
6
to say
dragons
that
in a day.
This will take some. I'm flattered that you think so highly of us that we could merely waltz into a city and slay 6 full dragons, but this will probably take a bit of preparation and craftiness on our part. So,
What age class are these dragons? Do we know?
They have some estimates. Let me look them up. There are. There's one blue dragon who is.
I met him once and I withstood his fucking
Yeah.
fire weapon.
Yeah, where'd he go? Zur is age class 7. There are 2 green dragons. We think somewhere around age class 6, maybe 7. We're trying to make best estimates based on size, but size of dragons is always a hard way to go about it. The whites, one is around 6, one is around 8. They're a few centuries apart. There were 2 reds initially, our scrying has detected, but these chromatic dragons met with Scoria, and Scoria killed the larger of the 2 reds, and now the others have fallen in beside her. The smaller red is age class. Six, I think.
Doesn't sound too bad.
Wait, did you write this down, or I should write this down? The blue dragon was H what?
7.
7. Greens were 6 and 8. No, the whites were 6 and 8. The greens were.
We're around 6, and the red is around 6. Yeah, they're all about that ballpark.
What's the breath weapon on those, Nick?
It's not too bad. Let me check. The red dragon will be the worst, so I'll look at that.
The red dragon was H6.
Yeah.
Greens
We can
were
stop
both
the blue
H6.
dragons.
Whites was 6 and 8, and blue dragon was 7.
7 and 8,
Yeah.
I think. But yeah.
Oh,
So the red dragon's breath weapon at H class 6 is 12 d10 plus 6
Plus 12.
plus 6.
Plus 6, okay.
We
So
can
that's an
handle
average
the...
of 72 damage on a failed save, which isn't that bad actually. But then we've got the rings of fire resistance
yeah.
and a pass save mean it's not really going to be that much, like 20 damage probably.
The blue dragon, we have the axe that can take its breath weapon, we theorized. I
Yeah.
don't think we have anything for the green dragons. And the red dragons, we don't have anything but fire resistant rings.
Do we not have any protection from gas scrolls left over from?
We can
the
get
last
those
green
made for
dragon?
sure. We must be able to.
Well, we might not
not
have the
in a day
weeks
or
to
two.
wait. Yeah.
Oh, true.
But do we not have any left over?
Didn't we use acid resistance?
Well, either would work. Yeah.
Potions?
Oil of acid resistance, right?
That's
If
right.
we
Yeah.
had
Do we have any of that
those-
left?
Which would be on one of Tyrael's sheets, I think, in his bag of holding. Then I think we might be able to. Yeah.
We also. Do we still have the potion of blue dragon control? Which
I
is
thought,
unlikely to
didn't
work,
we give
but-
that back to the
I think we gave it
dwarves?
to wait
Did we?
to the
Yeah.
dwarves.
Because we stole it from them, right?
Yeah.
I don't think we have any more oil of acid. Oh no, I've got 0.5. We have half of an oil of acid resistance left.
And a whole oil acid resistance gave us like 8 hours and like
Yeah.
500 damage. So I think
If we
half
apply
of
it for an
that
hour
would work.
each.
Yeah.
That's not bad.
Not bad odds.
The white dragons have ice breath, but their breath weapon, if they're 6, is only going to be 6d6 plus 6, and if they're 8, it's 8d6 plus 8. So
I
that's not
have
really that bad.
a spell that'll have fire and ice breath weapons that I could cast on us. I'll have to find it, but yeah.
There is another matter regarding the gold, regarding shine. I may have overestimated intentionally the effectiveness of our artillery, ballistas, scorpions, that sort of thing. Our soldiers can train with these weapons against ground forces, but when Scoria flew overhead, it's very clear that no one has ever had any target practice firing at flying objects of dragon size or distance. Judging distance in the sky is a new problem. Shine has offered to help train our soldiers in the ability, allowing herself to be used as target practice with blunted ballistae. There are a great many things that she could do to assist the kingdom on a broad scale. Your dragon slaying weapons are very precise, exact tools for a very precise, exact task. But this gold can reinforce and train or improve vast swaths. I think there is much
Understood.
value to be had in her. However, if you think these 4 weapons, the sword, the hammer, the bow, and the spear, are needed to slay Scoria, then it is no question which we should go with.
I think having the gold dragon's even breath weapon against Scoria
Yeah. There's a lot.
very useful. It's a bunch.
Do we know what age class shine is?
Shine
Like 9?
is her breath weapon is 14d12 plus 7, so she must be level H class 7.
7. And it can be fire or gas, right? So the gas would work against Scoria.
Something like that.
So God, it's a lot of damage, you know? It's like... 95 damage on a failed save.
On a failed, so jeez. Okay.
Plus magic resistance, right?
We'll consider
So
this.
magic
We'll talk
resistance
it.
against breath weapon, right?
We'll talk about amongst ourselves and we'll figure this out. I gave you a list of everything earlier. If you want, by sometime tomorrow morning, just write us up what items you think would benefit you or the kingdom, or the items that you'd like to have, and then we'll see what we're willing to part ways with, and we'll go from there.
Ooh, she kills her charisma check. Earlier, you had said that these could be found. Am I to understand that these are currently in your possession? And that was a bit of theater for the ears?
Perhaps, if one were to search in our warehouse, they could be found, yes.
Glacia was kind.
To some of us, but not to all.
Yeah.
No.
Maybe not even to the survivors. My mind is still a bit messed with after leaving those lands.
There is
not
more
want-
there to be found.
I did not want to speak this amongst others who might have heard so. There was another item on that list that brought my attention. A phylactery of long years? You've also
Indeed.
mentioned Drexel, the Lich of history. Is this related? Is this his phylactery? Is it
No, I
what
don't
engaged
believe
his
so.
soul?
Believe it
Are
only...
you certain that donning this will not have him take over your body?
Not 100% certain, but I think the naming is maybe just a nod towards the long-lived nature of leeches, yeah, rather than it being
I want to be
actually a
very,
phylactery.
very careful that there are, how should I say, in a place like Glacia that you've talked about, I expect there to be certain traps set.
Indeed. Well, Queen, if that's what you look for, the elves have similar items, even more powerful and with less terrifying names.
Excuse me?
The elves, they
What
they
do
have items, jewelry or rings or amulets that can extend the life of individuals.
I thought elven lifespans were naturally long.
I've read of them being given as gifts to humans in some cases. Perhaps after defeating Scoria, it's something that you could ask for.
Well, I would need to know the specifics. I'm not particularly interested in... Well, I mean, who isn't interested in longer lifespan?
Me, says Anton.
Okay.
Either way, I mean, I think neither of us are particularly interested in the phylactery as it is right now.
My greatest concern is that it is not some weapon of an ancient enemy that, when donned, will bring ruin to our countryside.
I'm sure Oxumbar can determine the specifics.
I hope so. Do you still need that zone of truth? Are we comfortable with how things lay?
As comfortable as we can be. I'll probably request another one in the future, but we'll see how we feel then. Anything else for us?
I don't think so. I think we're good. Right? I mean, that went as well as could be expected. Or as well as we could have hoped, I mean, even.
My eldest nephew, Tyrael. As long as we are being so openly transparent, it has come to my attention that amongst your members, amongst your bodyguard, there are former or maybe current members of thieves' guilds. That there have been meetings behind closed doors with underground elements. Is this something I need concern myself with?
I can update you on anything that you see fit, but I'm sure you know where my background is strongest. I'm sure you knew my uncle, which would be her brother-in-law? Right.
Brother-in-law.
Brother-in-law.
But no, her cousin? Her cousin-in-law.
Cousin-in-law.
Yeah. Her sister's cousin-in-law.
Something like that. My uncle was a man of many talents. A few of those were noble ones, so... Yeah, I figure if there's going to be an underground element running in this kingdom, it'd be good to have it under the thumb of one of the royal families, or noble families, maybe soon to be royal family. Would you be considered a royal family if you married into the royal family?
It's very complicated, and I think at this point it's more about how we want other people to observe us.
Sure,
and what
close enough,
titles
whatever.
actually matter.
But yeah, we have we have penned out deals to make sure that these behave as much as they can. But if you ever wish any sort of status update, or if you ever wish to know about the going-ons of any of these people, then I definitely know who to contact to give you some information about them.
A certain amount of crime can always be expected to exist, and I've always found it is better to let it exist and keep a close eye on it than to try and destroy it all. I appreciate having a man on the inside, so to speak, and if what we've discussed comes to pass, with you running Mystria and I Drekis, and together taking care of the other problems, it would be nice to have someone who is keeping a close eye. I wouldn't want a city under siege to be plagued by thieves who steal all the food and sell it at ridiculous prices. There may be a time where some of those underground elements will need to be removed quickly. Hopefully not. That would damage our espionage skills later, but...
Of course. Our minds are one on this issue. Yeah.
Good, good. Well then, my nephews, if you don't mind, I would like to stay here a little bit longer and ruminate on what we have discussed.
Understood.
Returns to a floating position.
Yeah. Get up. Gather my spider.
I can take 9 resist fire / resist cold, so we can handle the breath weapon and take 1/4 the damage on a pass save or half on a failed save. I think we can actually go and fight those if you'd like.
Yeah, I had just one point that I thought though. I think the vial of acid resistance was for against the black dragons, not against the green dragons.
Maybe it
They
was
have
whoever.
chlorine gas.
Yeah.
So we're still subject to that. But I guess we're having this conversation as we're walking back. My thinking is, they're expecting us to come either through the port and get attacked by the blue dragon, or to fight in the center of town and get captured by their teleport trap, or be blackmailed by the fire engulfing all the citizens. What if we were to make our way outside of the town, perhaps a mile? I could cast fly on all of us, and we could descend upon the town from the air, above the dragons, perhaps slay the white dragons immediately, and then deal with the others as they gather to fight us. Hopefully this way we can keep any breath weapons away from the town, away from the civilians.
I don't know. I'm not sure how we fight 6 dragons in an open field, Ned? Was it 1 blue, 2 greens, 2 whites, 1 red?
Yeah.
Yep.
6 dragons.
Well,
I think we need to go 1 by 1, or like 2 at a time, at a probably maximum.
Well, that's what I'm
6
thinking.
at
We
a
could
time
maybe,
and we get overrun, yeah.
with haste, we can likely kill the weaker dragons within a single minute once we get in range.
Perhaps.
If you're flying with haste, you could travel extremely quickly.
Let's talk about Shine for a moment. Do we really think that we can... Are all the dragons there contingent? Like, if we were to... Let's say, hypothetically, we were to give the dragon slaying weapons to Shine. Would all the dragons in Rencor, would they leave? Or are they working for
That's
Scoria?
what they said,
Yeah.
but they probably are lying.
Are we fully out
so.
and back in our gear and all that? Or at our house or whatever, Koibu? Is that...
It's up to you. Do
Yeah,
you want to
sure.
be away from...
Yeah, we
Yes.
can be talking. Okay. Can I
Yeah,
touch
your bodyguards
my...
will escort you home, yada, yada, yada.
I want to touch the hammer, I guess, and ask Crawl for it. Were a dragon to hold on to you, could a dragon communicate with you? Have you ever communicated with a dragon before?
Yes. Each and every time we strike them, I tell them that their death is approaching. I let them know that they will soon be mine, and that I will soon consume them, small parts of them. I taunt them as we slay them.
Just floating random ideas. Were we to create a convincing set of replicas to hand them over to the dragon, how would they know?
Oh, I think they can tell. I think they
Just-
can feel us at a certain range. Not at the range I can sense them, but
Okay.
if any of these dragons were to hoist me, they would know what I am.
How would we lure one or two of them away? I don't know if it's going to be possible.
Seems like they're in different parts of the cities. We could go one by one by one.
If we arrive on boat to fight the blue, they'll see us coming.
Well, I don't
This
think
is
we
why I
should
was
ride by
thinking
boat.
if we descend from the sky and the white dragons circle overhead, we could potentially kill them both.
Are we able to fight
Before-
while flying like that, though? Like, are we making normal attack rolls, or is it going to be fucking weird? I don't think we're going to be able to...
It's gonna get fucking weird.
It's not going to be that bad though.
Well, I just asked the DM, and he said it's going to be weird, so I'm...
How
I'm
weird
asking,
are we
like, how do
talking?
the
Are we
mechanics
talking,
work? Like, can I, like, roll to attack, or is it going to be, like, at a -10 to hit because you're, like,
Let's-
flying?
It should be like at
let's
most
find out.
-4, because if you're blind, that's -4.
I mean, for using a bow while flying, it's like fine the first round, then -1 the second round, then -2 the next round. Gets worse until you have secure footing again.
Aerial combat. So in aerial combat, you have a speed and a maneuverability class. The maneuverability class judges is how quickly you can turn around and change like angles of attack and whatnot. It's like A, B, C, D. A is the best. E is the slowest.
Well, we're talking about B.
B. Creatures that are Class B. Creatures are the most maneuverable of all the winged creatures, although they lack the utter ease of movement of Class A creatures. They are able to hover in place, and so are the only winged creatures that do not need to maintain forward movement in battle. Creatures can turn 180 degrees in a single round and can make one pass against something once a round. This includes pixie sprites, sylphs, and most giant insects. So if you are attacking something in the air, you could make a single pass, and then you could turn around and go back against it.
But you could also just fly right up to it and stay in melee with it.
If it was trying to stay in melee as well, yes. Let me get to the next area, but that's just the movement aspect. Where is...
Oh, wait, actually. If we're flying high above the city and you land a shot with your bow, that dragon is dead, right? Or how does the falling work? If you
Yeah, if it comes up to fight us, then yeah.
Because if it glides to the
Maybe not
ground, it'll
dead,
be
but
okay.
It'll take a lot of damage.
Well, if it glides to the ground, it'll be okay. But if it's just a straight drop after getting shot...
No, I think it's a glide. He says
Okay. If it's a glide, then
yeah.
yeah.
But still, take it out of the fight.
Aerial combat is based on maneuverability. When flying creatures flight, compare maneuverability classes of the different combatants. If they are identical, combat is conducted normally. When maneuverability classes differ, creatures with the better class gain several advantages. For each difference in class, the more maneuverable flyer subtracts 1 from its initiative dice. Its maneuverability increases its ability to strike quickly and to strike areas that are difficult to protect. Breath weapons are more problematic in aerial combat than on the ground. Creatures using breath weapons find their fields of fire are slightly more restricted, making the attacks harder to use. Dragons in particular find it difficult to use their breath weapons to their side and rear while flying forward. Difficult, not impossible. Those within 60-degree arc of the front of the creatures roll saving throws versus breath weapons normally. Creatures outside the arc save at a +2 bonus. Missile fire is difficult. Escaping. Damage. Any winged creature that loses more than half its HP must glide to the ground. You can climb and dive. There's attacking. So...
Sounds like we'd have an advantage in the air. Because we've got a higher movement class, right?
If you are more maneuverable than they, you might have an advantage, especially as composed to on the ground, where if they're flying above you, they can strike down at you.
Maybe from a balance perspective, it doesn't feel right, but from like a reasonable perspective, that actually sounds super true, because we're using magical flight and we can move in any direction, whereas they have to fly, which kind of sucks compared to magical height, and we're much smaller too, so...
What is your speed while flying is the other big question here.
I can tell you that 67 miles per hour per casting of
Jesus.
No, but
bare
just
minimum.
in-game movement speed.
Yeah,
is,
so
like
it's...
over the ground.
You'd be hasted, so it'd be double.
Jesus.
Typically, it's... you can move vertically and horizontally at 18, half that if ascending, twice that if descending.
Okay.
So it'd be
So-
36.
You would have. Let's just use. Yeah, if you have 36, white dragons are faster than you. They have movement speed 40. So you wouldn't be able to catch up to them.
If they fled, yeah.
If they fled. Well, right. If they want to keep you at a distance, they can keep you at a distance, even if you're hasted. Similar, let's see. Red dragons have movement speed 30.
But Nick, you could shoot them.
Yeah.
30, 30, 30 for the others. I think most dragons have movement speed 30. Whites have 40. They're
And
dumb.
don't
Would
forget,
the game
it's
plan to be
fast.
go up, Nick shoots him down, we like fly with them and kill them as they're
Well,
like if they're
my
like falling.
plan, we're descending anyway, which
Yeah.
means we've got movement speed 72, not 36.
The other side note here is the dragons can fly, so if you are fighting one in one area and the others know about it, even if they are in one place, they don't necessarily have to stay there. Maybe there's a series of ambushes that they're not leaving, or maybe, fighting the white dragons would attract all the others on the ground
Yeah.
who could see it to you.
Maybe.
Talking about Shine, would we ever consider doing this?
I think it's worth it actually.
I think it's worth considering.
I
I think
it's
the
straight up
biggest
worth it.
loss is the bow.
You
Just
think
'cause there's
so?
not-
I feel like
there's
the
not a great
hammer is so
replacement.
nice. Like knowing when we're near dragons is really helpful. Otherwise, because Scoria, like that's been probably the most important thing is like it's up there, it's in its lair. Whereas without the hammer, we have no fucking idea. Even
Well,
ignoring
we'll
like
be
the
able to know where
combat ability.
Scoria is because I'm gonna have my amulet and I'm gonna cast the vengeance thing on. So we'll know her exact location.
Also,
so-
there is the fact that Shine orchestrated an ambush to try and murder us before even attempting to talk with us first, and is now trying to
Sure,
hold
but
the
it wasn't
lives
because
of
it was
our
us.
innocent. Fine, but now trying to use the lives of innocent civilians as blackmail tools. Not to mention forming an allegiance with Scoria and bringing these other chromatic beasts into our home to ravage our land.
Yeah, who's to say if we give them the dragon weapons, they don't just try to kill us and everything anyway?
I have to say, I like to be reasonable here, but I don't think that Shine is showing us the same level of respect that it's expecting us to show it. Especially given that if we could go and meet this thing, we could kill it in a moment.
If we don't give her the weapons, we're gonna have to fight her.
Sure.
What is
That's
her breath
true.
weapon again?
It's powerful, but if we're
I know that
meeting
you're not
it,
gonna like this, but if we're gonna have to fight her and we're not gonna give her the weapons, we may as well do it during our conversation when she thinks we're gonna give her the weapons.
I agree. Yeah.
How powerful? What is her breath weapon of? I don't care. The
It's fire or
strength.
gas.
If it's a fire
Fire,
breath
it's-
weapon, that doesn't mean it's a fire dragon necessarily, right? Like the ice brand won't do +6 to it. That's only to red dragons.
No. Yeah.
I assume,
So it's
yeah.
yeah, red dragons.
I have spells that will prevent. I have resist fire cold, so if she used the fire breath weapon, we would take a 4th damage on a save. How much do we think we would take? On average.
Well, did our saves get fucked with the gear changes, or?
They got fucked with, yeah.
A little bit. If Shine's smart, and she probably is, she probably knows that we have fire resistance given that we're attempting to fight Scoria, so she'll likely use the gas breath weapon, I would imagine.
So what is the full extent of that?
I think it was 14d12 plus 7. So what did I say it was?
Jesus.
78 damage or something like that on a failed save, I think I said. But
So I would die. Which gas is this? Because I have another
chlorine, I think.
fluorine. So it's the same as the green?
Wait, chlorine is the one that are... No, that's the same as the black, or right?
No, it's
Green.
not. It's the same as the green.
Well, chlorine was the one that our oil of acid resistance protected us against.
No, it's not. I don't think. I think the oil of acid resistance worked against the black dragon's breath weapon, which was acid.
We would have no, because I have resist acid and corrosion, which we would have used instead of the.
Yeah,
oil
wait,
acid
there was the
resistance.
one... Remember the dragon that like vomited like chlorine gas? Remember in the
Yeah,
water? or something?
we had scrolls.
We didn't use the oil of acid resistance at all?
But no, we had protection from gas, I think. Scrolls.
Oh, okay. Someone had said
yeah.
chlorine is an oxidant, not an acid, so there you go.
Yeah.
Huh.
Do we have
Well, here, okay, one step at a time. So, are we really going to kill her? Is that the goal? Let's
If
take a
we
vote right now.
can't-
We're in our room, okay? How do we feel about does anybody here think we should really turn over the dragon slaying weapons to Shine?
I think that I think that is our best bet. Because she's going to serve for 5 generations.
Sure. Okay, out of character, I don't think Koibu would ever let us do this. But in character, nobody seems to want to use these zones of truth. I feel like they're good for negotiating promises or treaties. If we theoretically could get her in a zone of truth, I would be 1,000,000% okay giving up these 3 cursed weapons after Scoria was killed.
I agree with that.
Absolutely, but she's not going to...
Why not?
Don't
Shine isn't
forget,
gonna
she
agree
has
to that.
She has magic resistance, so the zone of truth may not work.
Well, but who cares? As long as it works for us, right? She'll know that we're being honest. If her goal at the end of the day is to just get rid of these weapons, once Scoria is gone, right?
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
I hesitate to bring this back up.
We can try.
Because I don't want it to undermine the point I was making earlier, but these weapons are known to corrupt the minds of the wielders against dragons, so perhaps a promise made today will not be completed once Scoria's blood has been
Sure,
tasted.
but we've already had these weapons for how long? Like, we can draw up any kind of treaty or arrangement to ensure that we'll do this. We could even give her something. What, Koibu?
When you're having these conversations, do you have them with your dragon slaying weapons on your person?
No, fuck them. They're just going to tell us not to trust any dragon. Yeah, sure, we'll have them with us, but
Yeah,
I imagine
think so,
there's
No,
gonna
yeah,
be
I just want to know whether they will be party to hearing this conversation or not.
Oh, wait, hold on. Let's clarify this. My understanding
Yeah.
was that unless we were touching the weapons and communicating with them, they can't hear what's going on or whatever. Are they cognizant of what's happening around us?
You've been given no reason to believe that.
Okay, great.
They're probably in the room.
Okay, they're just in the room, but you're not holding.
Or they'll be on the table in front of us, yeah. Fuck it, we're
Okay,
just
cool.
living.
Just want to, set my stones in place. Please continue.
Maybe we have already been corrupted. Maybe this is an obvious decision to give these things up at this point.
Well, right
We're
now,
only-
we're not dragon slaying heroes because we want to be, right? We want to kill Scoria to free our lands of her terror. That's our goal. Corruption or not, the most corrupted mind in the world aimed towards a noble goal is still noble in and of itself, no?
I do find myself looking forward to slaying these 6 dragons, though.
Well,
Not something that I would have looked forward to a year ago.
I mean, there is... The tantalizing feeling of standing over the corpse of a dead dragon is probably unmatched by any other foe. Except perhaps
I love
the
it,
Death
yeah. It's
Knight.
a great feeling.
Sure.
I carry around the blood of some of them.
What do you mean by that? This is something I would
it
have
was for a
expected
spell I
Anton
was-
to say. What do you mean?
It was a spell I was potentially going to be working on. And I suppose I could get rid of it now, but I've grown quite accustomed to carrying it with me.
You just carried vials of dragon blood around with you?
The black dragon blood, the one from the swamp, and the one we killed in the trap.
Do you pour any of this into your bath at night? What do you...
No, of course not.
It's an odd thing to
Anton will
carry.
pull out his vial. He also has a vial on his character sheet.
Wait, you don't have a vial?
Yeah, wait, where's your vial?
You're missing out.
Shake my head.
What does protection from poison do? That's not going to protect us from a gas, correct? Because I have a scroll that's protection from poison.
Let's
Poison gas.
I think it might work, though. I also have protection from poison on permanently.
Protection from poison is a protection scroll. The protection by this scroll extends only to the reader. No form of poison ingested, contacted, breathed will affect the protected individual, and any poison in the reader's system is permanently neutralized. This
Sounds like that would work, right?
D10 plus 2 rounds. It's a very narrow window.
But would that work? Because that's permanently on my robes, so maybe I'm just immune to it.
Well, yeah, this is interesting because I think Anton and Imric could take the dragon if the breath weapon isn't an issue.
If we do fight Scoria without these dragon weapons, there is that
Hold
one
on here.
sword that's
Let's just
important.
pause for a moment
Oh,
here.
yeah.
Chlorine gas is not poison gas.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
What is it?
it's just its own gaseous breath weapon damage. There is a protection from gas scroll.
Yeah, which is what we had
a
last
We
separate
time.
don't have any.
Yeah. Yeah. So protection from poison would not help you against a gold dragon's breath weapon.
This is a good point, though, Neal. The protection from poison on my robes, is that protection scroll, or is it the second level wizard spell?
No, that is
Protection
the
from
second
poison?
level wizard scroll spell.
Okay. Well,
You know, why don't we take our last break right here
Sure.
and come back and think a little bit more.
We'll be back.
Mhm.
I'm gonna go.
context you need.
We're back in. Are we dice rolling to remember?
Hello, everybody.
what
Welcome
was
back
said
to
down?
Scoria. Would somebody like to make me an intelligence check to remember a couple of key pieces of information regarding this
As the
discussion?
wizard, as the wizard, I'll be doing that.
Are you? But as
Thank
the
you
person
very
who
much.
rolled so poorly today, do you still want to
Nick, just don't fuck us. It's
No,
that
I won't,
easy.
Neal. I won't. Don't worry. This is gonna be an 8. No, it's
Oh,
even
yeah.
better. It's a 27.
Two pieces of information that may play into your gold dragon conversation.
Uh-huh.
The queen had said that Shine arrived with other metallic dragons, mentioning a copper named Kale or Kal in particular. It's one piece of information. The second piece of information is that apparently Shine has gone around and talked to other people. Shine spoke to people in Wake County. That's all. I don't know if those are in play.
Okay, so the
but you
other
hadn't
dragons might be
mentioned it.
there. The
Sure.
other dragons might be there as well.
It's only one other dragon, but yeah. We assume.
So, Tyrael, there's two options. Anton and I have been talking, right? Either we go to the chromatic dragons first and then go to Shine, or we go to Shine first. My suggestion would be that we deal with the chromatic dragons first. I think if we can slay them when it comes to confronting Shine, we can present her the ultimatum, basically, that she can choose to wait until Scoria is dead and then have the weapons destroyed, and will have to trust us, or she'll have to meet the same fate as her chromatic companions.
Yeah, let's agree.
Whereas-
We have to meet Shine first. We can't go to Rencor and then come back to Shine, because Shine could ambush us with the other chromatic. Like, it would just be horrible, right? We have to deal with Shine first.
I think that we need to make the decision: do we work with Shine or do we kill Shine?
I'm okay parting ways with these weapons after Scoria's dead.
Yeah, I agree. But I think that she's not going to agree to that while she still holds leverage over us.
She has no leverage
I
over
think
us.
that
She does, the city.
We'll free the city if we need to. But I understand what you're saying. She might feel like
Yeah,
she's in a stronger position to negotiate.
Yeah.
We've seen them open dragon portals before, right? We have to be careful that anywhere we go, dragons could appear. Yeah.
That's true.
Although I'm sure if we saw her
Although
opening a portal,
I would expect portals like that would have to have been constructed ahead of time.
and we can simply
Hey,
teleport out
very
with the amulet.
specifically, when we're under a zone of truth, we're gonna say we are okay parting ways with these weapons after Scoria, correct?
Sure.
It's the issue that if that conversation is had in the presence of the weapons, that they could choose to fail us at the key moment. If they know that killing Scoria means their end.
True.
Are the weapons touching each other?
No, we just have them laid out on the table in front. They're not touching each other.
Okay.
I personally don't feel like Shine has treated us with any good faith at all.
I think we should just kill Shine.
I think we should just kill
Shit.
Shine.
We not.
It's what the weapons would want, and they've helped
I
us
don't care
this
what the
far.
weapons would want. Don't speak like that, Imric. There are tools. You're not their tool.
It's fine, but they are tools of mankind in a battle that is heavily weighed against our favor.
They're not even tools of mankind. I think the elves crafted these, did they not?
The
Well,
elves
it's fine.
crafted them.
I included the elves in that. Humanoid kind.
The elves don't include us in elvenkind, so we best not to
That's
include
true.
them in humankind. Okay.
Anton dons his Cloak of Plenty, which have +4 against all elemental attacks. And,
First,
I think-
wait.
Yeah.
I don't know if you want to go through this quickly or whatever, but like a question that I would ask the queen, we can either say we would have asked it or we would go and ask to ask or whatever. What kind of conversations has this gold dragon been having with people? Like, are people coming away thinking like, oh my god, the gold dragon is like so cool and reasonable and good? Or is it more like there's a horrifying dragon speaking while other dragons are like terrorizing cities? Like, what was the feeling of the people in Wake County that were being spoken to?
Are you asking me in particular?
I'm asking the queen. And then I'm asking
Okay,
you,
so
Neal, if we could just either have had that conversation or we can go have that conversation. I just want to know what the feeling on the ground is. Because if everybody had, like, overwhelmingly positive opinions, I don't know if it would change our plan, but it's something to weigh that, like, now we're walking around a gold dragon armor, now we're going to, you know, slay a gold dragon, and maybe people like fucking the McGarrys are causing us to get fucked. But maybe everybody's horrified of the dragon, like, oh, well, fuck this, you know, gold dragons capture people and talk to them for hours and hours, and fuck that. Maybe they don't care if we kill it. I'm just curious what the situation would be
Right.
like.
So you can chat with her the next day and get some clarification on these fronts. She will tell you that she's not privy to the conversations that the Gold Dragon had in Wake County, but that that according to Shine's own account, that she came to Wake County looking for the possessor of these weapons and spent some time talking with the people in Wake County and
Can she give us the name of one noble
Give
family that she's
information.
talked to?
yes, his name is King. Oh fuck, what's his name, Nick? I can't remember.
Oh, I don't know. Sorry.
Okay, can we time pull the conversation
Yeah, I was about to
between
say, time pull it, yeah.
Shine and King whatever of Wake County?
We should be able to.
I time pull it.
This guy's barely king, though.
Barely.
He's just a count, really. He's nothing.
Count Baron, well, former Baron, now King Jacob Redwing is his name.
But he's king of a single county. Right?
King of 4 cities.
Yeah.
How many cities do you roll, Nick?
Well, you know, one. But it's a better one than his. No, actually, Redport's pretty cool.
Okay. Let me.
I just think, yeah, I mean, some out of character reasons, right? Number one, well, it's not really out of character, but Anton did promise to give the Dragon's Bane weapons to Valthara. Secondly, you know,
Wait, do we know
have
that?
been in... No, we don't know.
Okay, no,
I
fuck
remember.
that.
I don't think. We have been in possession of these things for a while, and they do corrupt the mind of.
But I feel
the
like we talked
wielder.
about that.
Yeah, maybe we did.
I think we talked about it because Anton was selling it as like, we don't need these afterwards. Like, we might as well give them to him. And then where's a better place for them to go other than the Goddess of Vengeance, who can send them to people who need them in the future?
Yeah,
I thought we had
that's
that
true.
conversation.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and secondly, you know, we are probably more likely to be anti-dragon after having wielded these things for so long than you might be if you're making a perfectly logical calculation.
Yeah, I understand, but damn. I mean, like, they're literally holding hostages and eating fucking civilians in our cities right now. Like,
Yeah, dragons are.
exactly,
I
exactly.
think from our character's point of view, every dragon is pretty evil at this
Yeah.
point.
Yeah.
Yeah. I time pool the meeting.
Yes. It succeeds without any problems. You can see a meeting where there shines a female dragon, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Where there is a woman with long golden hair and sort of dark burnished skin walking into this like throne room. She's just got some very simple clothing on, ordinary sandals, hair's down, nothing too resplendent, some rings and a necklace around her. And without taking a knee, she walks towards this guy sitting on a throne. Out the windows, you can see waves in the background crashing on the shore nearby. And she tells him that her name is Shine. As she demonstrated earlier, she is a gold dragon. She's here with her metallic friends, and she brings bad news and questions. The bad news is there are more dragons on their way to these lands, and the questions are, who are the men in this area that wield the dragon-slaying weapons? And the kingly figure asks what, why he should give up this information, how it could possibly be of his benefit to meddle in the affairs of people outside of his realm. And the gold dragon tells him that these people with dragon-slaying weapons are bringing doom upon all of Arcadia, that if these weapons are not removed from these lands, that that these are not the only dragons that will come, that these weapons of dragon slaying are deeply hated to all their kind, and if they remain, only more problems will come in the end. And the king's like, look, I don't got any problem with dragons. I'm just trying to run my little trade empire here. There used to be a mist dragon that lived nearby, but it fled recently. If you want to know who is slaying dragons, it is the Megari family. They live in Wicthron Rarenta. They are, he kind of gives you a description of who you are and says, to be fair, I have quite enjoyed their presence. They may kill Scoria, who has been a scourge on this area, and they have driven off the ones that have threatened me. That said, I have no problem with dragons. I do not wish to stand in your way. I only wish that you would leave our small county out of all of these problems. And the gold dragon reminds him nothing. Thanks him and leaves him a bag on the ground as a gift and leaves. He has one of his people go over to inspect the bag, but by then Shine is gone and the time pool and vision ends.
Would it have been some gold, you think?
I shrug.
Is it important, or should we not worry about it?
I time pool.
If you're talking, Nick, your mic is muted.
I don't think it's too important.
Okay. Time pool what?
I time pool what was in the bag.
The Count opened a bag.
Fails, unfortunately.
Oh, good. Thank you. Okay. Well, Tyrael, what do you think?
Can I touch my hammer right now? Do I feel any...
Time pools can you cast in a day? Because if we are going around time pooling
That
things
was
left,
my
right, and
last
center,
one.
we are actually moving forward in time, which might
That
change
was my last one.
things. Okay. You only had...
I can cast 2 in a day.
Yeah, and you had 2 memorized.
Yep.
Gotcha.
Fuck. I don't have my D&D book. Am I level 14 right now? Are we level 11 fighters?
Level 11
Yes.
fighters, yeah.
Okay, and 14 rogue, I think. What, can I feel, my hammer? Is there a dragon within 14 miles of us? Oh, multiple dragons, maybe?
Yes. There are 3 dragons within 14 miles of you.
All together?
Yes. They are all to the east of Wicthron Rarenta.
Does the hammer say
Well,
anything
I-
to me as I reach out for their presence?
Uncharacteristically, the hammer is not encouraging you to go murder anything. You ask if there are dragons nearby.
Uh-huh.
It tells you that there are 3 dragons nearby, and it goes quiet.
But why?
I think Crawford is upset.
Oh, come on. We're not actually going to give him up to the dragons.
Opium.
Huh. Okay, just as a guide for the rest of the session, I have a super hard out in 26 minutes because I have a flight to catch in 2.5 hours, so just make sure.
I think we should just decide on what our plan of action is so we can think about it until the next session and plan for it, and Neal can plan for it as well.
Well, it sounds like our
So-
goal would be to find and kill these 3. Basically, we're finding and killing these 3 metallic dragons, then we're going to Rancor to kill 5 or 6 more dragons. That's what it sounds like we're doing, right?
Well, I mean, I would still think it better to go to Rancor first, but I mean,
I
if
think
you
it's
wanna
better to
wait
go
for a while.
kill these dragons first.
Yeah, I don't want to leave 3 metallic dragons right next to the capital while we go off and kill the ones in Rancor. Also, we know that the ones in Rancor are held there because they've got the city under siege. These metallic dragons might be more mobile. If we go to Rancor and they come with us or they ambush us somehow, we're fucked.
We also need to kill them before they start talking to more fucking people.
Possibly, yeah.
Yeah, okay, but I'm not sure we can take. Does the hammer know what type of dragon they are? I don't think we can take a gold, a silver, and a bronze at the same time.
Can the dragon tell me what kind they are? No, isn't. Wait, yes, he can. He has in the past.
Has he told you in the past? I thought the
Yeah.
hammer
He
could
said
not
it was a black
specify.
dragon. In the past, you said there was a black dragon in Blackroot Marsh. With the
My
hammer.
mistake then. My mistake.
Wait.
It is-
Let's look it up. Let's check real quick.
Well, there's nowhere to look. Oh, it's not a real item.
What do you mean?
Well, I mean,
it's on the
obviously,
wiki,
I mean-
isn't
It's
it?
on that wiki, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, but that's just like a quote from 7 years ago.
Okay. Are you saying that it's changed?
Yeah, I'm saying it might have changed. I'm saying if Neal said that he's given us the colour of the dragon in the past, then that's a better indicator of its purposes than looking at that quote.
Okay, true.
And a
Yes.
white dragon when we were in Solemn, yeah.
Yes, if it has given you the color before, then the hammer will tell you there is. Cal is a copper dragon, I believe it was.
What you said, yeah.
Yeah. Shine is a gold.
Last one's silver, I think, right? Excuse me.
And the last one is a mist dragon.
A mist dragon?
Mist. It is not
their
a
breath
chromatic
weapons?
dragon.
What was its name? Or you don't have to tell us, I guess. We don't technically know, but mist dragon.
Its breath weapon is a gout of burning steam. It is not fire, it is scalding vapor. Creatures caught in vapor, roll a save for its breath weapon for half damage.
Does protection from
still
fire work
air-
against that? No?
In still air, the vapor will persist for multiple rounds.
Would, like, resist fire?
I mean, they explicitly say it's
cold?
not fire, which makes it sound like it won't.
But the damage is weaker. Normally, a dragon does like twice its hit die, or its age class in damage. A age class 6 mist dragon only does 7d6 plus 6, so it's it's like half strength breath weapon to begin with.
Would you say that this is a temperature-based attack?
Scalding vapor? Yes, most definitely.
Okay, so endure heat and endure cold could help
Yes.
against this one. It would only
Certainly.
take the first 10 points of damage off, but something
Still.
nonetheless.
So let's think. I don't even know if these dragons will have a conversation with us. Right? We might show up to talk, and they might be thinking the same we are, that they're going to kill us while we're having a conversation.
They are good.
Yeah, well, they've acted.
Well,
Yeah, I
Unfairly
laughed,
to us.
you know, because
we've been ambushed by a gold before, haven't
Yeah.
we? In that one.
that,
Yeah, it's the same dragon.
Yep.
They've
Yeah.
shown no
It's the same
regard
dragon.
for our life in the past.
And that was after, I'm trying to think, didn't we try to
we
negotiate
tried to
with
have
that?
a conversation, but we talked to the black dragon.
Sure, but still.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that, like, the McGarry brothers need to dispel the myth that there are good dragons and evil dragons. It seems like they're all just fucking evil.
Well,
Absolutely.
they're selfish. They do what they need to do to survive. or
They're
whatever.
selfish, exactly. They only care for themselves. They don't care about us.
Sure, but I mean, humans are the same, right? We only care for ourselves. Fuck dragons.
Well,
Sure,
then
I
if
care
that's
for
the
the
case, then
family.
there's nothing to be discussed here. The fact that we're having this discussion proves that we're better than them.
Does it now?
Yeah.
I could cast Righteous Wrath of the Faithful on us, which would give us haste and an attack bonus.
Wait, righteous, is that better than haste, or
No, and then we could also cast haste, I think.
how does that work? Are we gonna get like 20 attacks in a round, or?
Righteous Wrath of the Faithful won't give you an extra attack because you don't follow my god.
Oh, how do
But
we?
it will give you a little bit of HP.
Is haste and everything? Is that still unaffected by 3 Neal rules? The next edition of. We need to be.
2.N1?
We're not
Haste hasn't
changing.
changed.
Okay, we haven't changed any of that. Okay. Haste was still what, like 4 or 5 attacks per round? How are we doing that? Was it 2 times the amount of attacks?
Doubles your attack rate.
Something I mentioned before as well, in these fights, we could just kill one of the dragons and then amulet out and come back the next day full strength.
Well,
No, I would assume that these fights need to happen in pretty quick succession, because if we kill one and retreat, they know we're coming to kill them again, so they're either all going to team up or they're going to start terrorizing the fuck out of our villages. We're getting Jokered right now, right? Like the Dark Knight, where he's like, I'll kill one person for every day that Batman doesn't come out.
Yes, they are eating. Each of the 6 dragons is killing 3 people a day that you don't go to Pernicis.
Yeah.
They're going to run out of babies at some point. Are they then going to eat an extra woman? Or will they just content themselves with a man and a woman?
just have to find out.
Why don't you wait and see?
These are the kind of logistical questions. But, you know,
You think like an aerial servant shine to us?
probably not. I want to kill them so badly. Our weapons might go up a rank if we kill like 9
I don't think
dragons.
they're ever going up a rank. Fuck
With
them.
this many, I think that they might.
They literally, when I asked them before, they were like, "We've killed thousands of dragons."
Yeah. But he's not going to
Yeah,
give us a level for this, so we're probably going to get something.
Well, let's be clear.
Killing
Killing
9
nine dragons, that might be worth a level.
That's a lot
if he
of.
gives us a level for us, I would be surprised, but I think it could also be justified.
It's hard not to. at that
Let's
point.
like also for all of Glacier, that was only 1 level, okay, but that was a lot of stuff we did. So there
There's
might be a
lot of
little
shit
bit
we
of,
did.
you know.
Okay, we don't have a way against their breath weapons. So do we think that we can just tank breath weapons? Is the
Okay,
question.
let's talk about Copper Dragon breath weapon. What is it?
It's heat,
Yeah,
right?
it's-
Fire or vapors or what?
Yeah, it's
He's got a gas, a slow gas, or an acid gas. So we can either ignore the slow or use the protection from acid.
Okay, so he's got a slow gas and an acid gas. That's the Copper Dragon attack, right?
Yeah,
And what is the
yeah.
damage, you know?
The damage, well, it depends on the age class, but let's say it's 7. It's 14d6 plus 7.
So we'd use our acid resistance potion.
Yeah,
Boom.
Well, what about the
That
gold,
one's
and the
still
Gold
worse.
Dragon's attack? What is that?
it's either fire or chlorine. We'd have some protection against the fire. Chances are I'll use the chlorine. That's the main one. That's
We have
on damages.
nothing, no protection against that, and it's a big
Yeah, and
damage
it's
attack, right?
it's 14d12 plus 7.
Keep in mind, every dragon we've ever fought hasn't used the
Don't forget,
breath weapon for some
the
reason.
gold dragon can also cast Dispel Magic.
Oh, did that happen to us once in the
It did, but it wasn't that big of a deal because it didn't dispel all of our gear.
It would dispel your
active effects or whatever, right?
Yeah, it would dispel haste. It dispel protection from heat and cold.
Yeah.
We could use the iron stones, but that's pretty risky. The gold dragon casts stone skin as well. Yeah.
Is there anything else we need to do, or are we just going to be planning for this fight? We have 15 minutes.
planning for the fight, aren't we?
Yeah.
But are we decided that we're going for the metallic dragons first?
It has
and
to
that
be.
We're going to kill them.
Yeah.
We
I
can't.
do think that we should make the good faith argument that if they will wait for Scoria to die, we'll give them the weapons. Or we'll at
No,
least give
fuck,
them
we
to
fucked up. We
Valfara.
can't do that now. Because
Why?
our weapons might not work, unironically.
Yeah, true,
Yeah.
yeah. True.
Do they have the option of just turning off? I actually don't know.
You know, we could offer them one of the weapons, perhaps.
I don't think any of them will be happy with that. It's either all or nothing. I
No,
think,
we can't do the weapon thing. I don't think. They just won't work for us.
Yeah. Well, we could keep them in the dark about it, though.
Can I want to
Pretty
reach out and ask
easily.
the hammer. What of your existence once every dragon is slain? I'll ask the
A
sword.
lofty goal.
Sure.
I don't know if it could ever be attained. There are more dragons beyond the pale of this plane. There's their homeworld.
Sure, but nobody
There's
is
a whole
but no
lifetime to
human, no wielder of this weapon is wandering into the dragon plane to slay some. So once all the dragons have been removed from this land, what will you do then?
Not yet, my friend. Not yet. I do not know what that day looks like. I do not know if that day will ever come. It is a dream I can only hope to attain.
It does seem like the Queen wants us to do it. To give them up.
Well, it's up to us. She's just going to confer, or she's going to defer to our judgment, right?
Yeah, I agree.
Emmerich, think. Is there anything we can do to get rid of the gas spell?
I was trying to learn a spell that I failed that could have helped.
These are two separate groups of dragons. If we give the weapons up, are we expecting the dragons in Rancor to leave, or are they just going to stay aligned with Scoria and continue to fight?
They said they'd leave, but
There is a spell that I have in Babylon's spellbook that can provide protection from all magic and all breath weapons within an area of effect, but it will mean that any magic cast on us will be dispelled, and any magical items that you have will cease to function in that area. I could cast this and we could approach the dragons, but my fear is that if they don't use their breath weapons all at once, we either fight them without any magic and lose.
Wait, what? Wait, why would we cast this? Dispel magic shit?
It's like an area of effect that stops all magic from functioning within it, and also stops all breath weapons from functioning within it.
That includes all innate magic?
All magic. Everything here.
Huh.
It's an anti-magic shell. I can't, I'd have to study it, but I do have it as well.
We don't have time.
Would a gold
Oh, sorry, go on.
would a gold dragon cast its breath weapon at another dragon? For example, if we're in between the gold dragon and the copper dragon, is the gold dragon really going to kill his copper friend?
Right.
We saw previously it wouldn't do that, but the chromatic dragon would.
Yeah.
Yeah. Something
That's
to think
true.
about is we could use their goodness against each other.
Can we kill Scoria without these weapons?
Yes.
Maybe.
We're saying that max AC for everyone in the campaign now is 30.
For us.
I think so, there are very, very few things that break that rule. I think Age Class 12 Gold Dragons have 31 AC.
Scoria, what does she have? Or do we know? Or
I don't think we know.
she's not gonna have like 40 though, right? We can hit.
Right. It's going to be 30. Maybe if there is some sort of extraordinary circumstances, if Scoria is above and beyond all the normal red dragons, maybe a little bit higher than 30.
Yeah,
But
if she's age class 13 or something.
If we think that we can defeat Scoria without these weapons, which might be possible, then we're essentially trading away 4 dragon slaying weapons in exchange for 9 dragons leaving, and we get another dragon as a servant.
Yeah.
Why just 1 dragon? Could we get all? What if we could get all 3 dragons as servants for 2 generations instead of 1 dragon for 5 generations?
Probably an offer we could make.
Have all 3 of them help in the fight.
Scoria's probably incurred like more bad will towards dragonkind than any other individual dragon, at least in recent history, no?
Maybe on this
Like,
planet.
dragons don't seem to take part in human affairs as actively as Scoria has, right? People
Yeah.
are fighting wars, so
True.
I feel like most dragons should be pretty pissed off about that.
We can make that deal.
Is there a
If
way
it
that we
goes-
can get rid of the dragon slaying weapons and not giving them to the dragons?
I don't think they'll accept it, because it would look like
You
a
don't think
trick.
they'll accept like sacrificing it to Velthar or whatever?
I mean, maybe if they can watch it happen.
If they can watch it happen, I would be down for that. I think we could get a win-win there. We sacrifice the dragon slaying weapons to Velthara. We get something. The weapons are gone. The dragons get what they want. And we get the dragon's servitude for X amount of generations. And they would see the dragon slaying weapons being killed.
The only thing that now I'm going OC, okay. The only issue I'm having is I just feel like it won't work out this easily. Like,
I
is
think
Koibu
it
gonna let
will.
us fight Scoria with 3 like metallic dragon? Like, because now it seems easy moded almost. Like, we go in with these 3 dragons, I feel like we could like right now just walk Scoria and kill her almost.
Yeah.
Like, Scoria gets 1 breath weapon attack, and then she's got 3 more dragons plus the 3 of us to deal with. Like, maybe she kills 1 dragon, maybe
Well,
she kills 1 of us.
the breath weapons probably kills like all of the dragons, though.
No, that's never happening, because we're gonna ask for a
No.
map, and we're not all gonna be grouped up like waiting to get fucking
Well,
1
they're
breath.
massive though, aren't they? And it's going to be in our lair, so it's going to be tight. I think that's a real possibility.
They could just go in
And
1
the
at a
breath-
time or something, like. And plus, they've got their whole set of like innate abilities and everything as well, right? Dragons fight all the time. They should have something. And actually, we don't even have to use your lair. We could just use these 3 dragons like fucking Daenerys in Game of Thrones. Just go conquer all of fucking Mystria and be like, fuck it, we have dragons.
Well, I mean, I could see the 3 dragons like clearing a path to our lair for us very easily. Could make the like.
they
the
said
journey
they
to
said
our lair
servants,
easy.
not just
I
help
don't
us kill
think-
Scoria. They said they're gonna be servants for generations, right?
I don't think the other 2 will agree to the servitude thing, but they might agree to help us out. So what they would do is they're going to go around and fuck shit up if they can. I think it would be us 3 with maybe the gold dragon helping us out. And I think that would be like a fair trade for everybody. Because the other dragons are going to want to risk their lives. The gold dragon is chaotic good, so it wants the best for everybody, all of the other dragons. So it would probably be willing to like sacrifice itself in that manner. So I think that this is like one of the best steps we could take towards our goal.
Actually, I just realized that the gold dragon is immune to fire. So actually, dodges Scoria's breath weapon, and even if Scoria can kill her in combat, that doesn't mean she's not attacking us.
It does
So
mean
the
she's
gold
not
dragon-
attacking us, right?
The gold dragon Really could help in the fight a great deal.
I think we would be foolish, the more that we think about it, not to try it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that Velthara might give us a boon if we sacrifice these weapons to her. Win, 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 win.
The other two help us get there. The Gold Dragon helps with the fight, and then acts as the servant for, say, 3 generations, 4 generations.
We have to get we have to do this in a zone of truth though.
I agree.
To ensure.
I think we can trust that word.
I can also
No.
age the dragon.
You don't?
No, absolutely not. Fuck no.
Everything's done in a zone of truth. It's
Yeah.
our only one, and we should do it there. Okay.
I could speak to them through a projection to avoid having to risk walking into them.
You
we're-
should ask Arc Somber if dragons can innately resist like zone of truth stuff or whatever.
Well, they have magic resistance, so they can, and we wouldn't necessarily know.
Well, fuck.
Yeah.
How do we know then? Is there any way to know if somebody is under a zone of truth or?
No, but a Gold Dragon, I think if it makes a deal and gives us its word, then it will carry it through. I do.
So we'd hope. All right, let's in character, let's have the conversation. Out of character, let's end it there, and we'll have the conversation.
Yeah, I think so. Okay. Good episode.
Well,
Can I
then.
do a quick communion with Velthara, asking her about the if she's cool with the plan of sacrificing the dragon weapons to her? You can think about it.
Can you
too,
give me the
but-
detail that you tell her that you want to ask her?
Velthara, in order to kill Scoria, we are going to enlist the help of a gold dragon. And in order to do this, the gold dragon wants our dragon slaying weapons removed and gone from this earth. I want to sacrifice these weapons unto you. Does that sound amicable?
She will tell you, or give you the impression that the gold dragon will want to destroy them herself. That the destruction of them is not compatible with you sacrificing them to Velthara. The objective is to destroy them.
Do I feel like that's okay? Because it will get me out of Arcadia quicker to Solemn to do her bidding. Or do I feel like that isn't an option? That she wants these to continue?
Velthara is comfortable with you getting rid of these things. She lets you know that these dragon-slaying weapons they can align with vengeance, but it's sort of self-propelling, unnecessary vengeance, that they will help turn the minds of their wielders towards hatred, that they create their own suffering, and that the vengeance that they instill in people is not pure. It is a corrupted version, and she's willing to let them go.
Okay. I let the boys know. I say, hey, the one up top approves of the plan.
All right, and don't forget, when we spoke to the elves about it, they seem to have changed their mind on these things as well and wanted them gone.
Mm-hmm.
I agree.
So it really is just us now.
Anton's not dumb, so he's not going to wear the golden dragon armor to meet the golden dragon.
Well, we can do all of those details next time on Tombs of Scoria.
Sure. We got 5 minutes. We skip ahead. They agree to the 2 generations of servitude. We'll give them the weapons after the other dragons leave. I think is that a milestone or?
Why don't you just roll me a d20 to see how the ambush goes, and if you roll less than a 10 or less, you just die.
How about Anton dies?
But if he rolls a 20, then we kill Scoria.
Oh, Anton.
Yeah, somehow Scoria was one of these dragons.
Nick, roll.
Oh, God.
Savior, the last surviving.
Wait, no! I will save us.
No, whole party's wiped. Good game.
Are we doing the next episode on the 16th because Nick is flying out on the 17th? Am I remembering correctly?
I'm flying on the 19th, so I can do the 6th. I can do the 17th, no problem.
Oh, I can't do the 17th. Can we do the 16th? Can we do the 16th?
That was clever.
It's because I have a flight on the 17th. Sorry.
I can't do the 16th. I have a doctor's appointment.
Can you do the 15th? Or the 14th?
I have Tides of Death.
Can you do
I
14th?
can't do the 14th. No.
Okay, well, no, sorry.
No D&D next week?
I'm busy
Wait.
on the 7th. I have a flight the whole 17th.
Can we not
You have
work
Wi-Fi.
around Neal's doctor's appointment though?
It starts half an hour before our normal game time starts, and it might run a while. And I also don't know if I might be like woozy when I come
Incapacitated?
back. Yeah, incapacitated.
In theory, we could do an hour later.
Can we do Sunday? Can we do this Sunday?
I have other campaigns on Sunday.
Oh, well.
We'll see you in 2 weeks.
We'll try,
Well,
yeah.
very much. Stay safe. Be careful, guys. Have fun. Peace out.
See you later.
Wait,
Isn't in 3 weeks because Nick is gone the next week?
Nick, are you serious?
Yeah, I'm serious.
Yeah, that
Okay.
was the thing is I remember typing in the group chat that like the 16th because I couldn't make the 17th, but Nick was like, yeah, I can make
Okay, and then also wait, we have 3 questions real quick, okay? To Koibu, can gods have multiple artifact? Oh wait, did we already do this one? I might have crossed these out. To Koibu, can God? Oh no, I don't think we did. Can gods have multiple artifacts? Because it seems weird that Malchus's artifact is evil, but Malchus himself is not. Also, why didn't Malchus let Imric have the amulet?
Each deity has one artifact that they have created and they call their own. They can have other things, but there is but one like amulet of Malchus. There's one, but blah blah blah. You say it's weird because you think the amulet is evil, but you don't think Malchus is evil, and I would just like to point out that those are your subjective opinions and not absolute truths. And what was the last one?
Why didn't Malchus let Imric have the amulet?
You
got
are
whipped- it
making
got whipped
wild assumptions by such statements. I would ask you to question your assumptions.
Jesus. Okay, what plane did Moot roll first when he rolled a 1?
Your mom's plane.
Damn. And to all players, although death was somewhat expected, how did the players' characters react to followers who were lost in Galatia, excluding the Frost Ranger, of course? Were there any deaths that impacted any of the characters more significantly?
Nope, I got this. Fuck them.
Jesus.
I think the biggest impact was Teresa dying in the manner that we was foreseeing kind of made Tyrael nervous about the Queen's betrayal. Is probably the biggest impact of it.
Yeah, Teresa dying amped up Tyrael's nervousness like 10,000 fold. Otherwise, he was pretty chill with everything, but after that, he got really paranoid.
Queen's super chill though, right?
Yeah,
She's not gonna murder you.
it's been put to bed now.
One of these times, I'm going to nat 20 charisma roll, and I'm going to catch that bitch in the line. I'm going to fucking kill her.
Neal, you should make him. You should roll the charisma checks yourself, so you can lie to him if you get to 1.
You know, I
Bait
think
him into it.
so much of the game would be improved if the DM did the checks behind the screen. But there's so much fun involved in seeing the rolls.
Yeah,
know?
could you imagine if D&D was just the DM makes all the rolls in secret? Oh, look, you missed again. Sorry. Oh, you're dead this time.
There is a lot of the game that fundamentally changes when the players are making the rolls, though. Probably for the worse, right? Like if I roll like a whatever, and I find like if I roll like a charisma check and I see that it's a 19, oh, he looks honest, great.
Yeah.
But if I roll or whatever and you're like, oh, he seems honest, and I don't know what the roll was, but like my charisma is pretty high, like most of the time it's like, oh, he's pretty honest, but maybe I did roll a nat 1 then, and then it would change things significantly. I think, right? Yeah.
It's an argument for the system in 5e where it's kind of all based on DC, like the difficulty level of the check, so you don't really know whether you've passed or not because it's the DM that holds the pass number in his head. We do that sometimes in this edition, but not as often.
Oh yeah, because sometimes in this, Koibu has said that it needs higher than a 20 to succeed. We
Yeah,
don't
but
know
pretty
exactly.
much you know if you get less than a 21, you've failed.
You've always fucked up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But with the
20, he
charisma
might give
checks,
you
it's
something.
usually opposed. So if you roll a nat 20, that doesn't mean that they haven't also rolled a nat 20.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we will be back sometime in 2022.
In
Love you guys.
3 weeks?
No, we'll figure it out. We must. All right.
figure
See you
it
guys later. Peace out.
See you later.